A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the Goldbergs. Sammy's engagement to Sylvia Allison has become not a source of happiness to everyone, but a center for mutual suspicion, hostility, and unhappiness. When Molly Goldberg and the rest of her family arrived in South Carolina for the wedding, Molly found at once that something was very radically wrong. She knows that Sammy left Sylvia and called the marriage off. And she knows, too, that the Allisons lied when they said Sammy was away on a business trip. And now that Sammy has suddenly returned, he wonders what it's all about. At this moment, while Sylvia begs Sammy not to reveal the truth to his mother, he suddenly sees Molly running toward him down the sunny street.
Ma! Ma!
Sammy, wait, Sammy. Promise me you won't tell her.
Sylvia, please.
Sammy, she doesn't know. Don't tell her. She thinks you're away on business. Sammy, please don't tell her. I told you I'd fixed everything with Leah and Ed. There isn't anything left to tell about. I'll make it all up to them. Sammy, please don't tell her. Sammy. How are you, Sammy?
Oh, Rosie. I'm fine. How are you? How are you? I'm wonderful.
Look, darling.
I'm fine.
You don't look so wonderful.
Why? Sylvia, why don't you drive the car back to the house?
There's room for all of us. Come on.
No, I'd rather walk.
Well, then I want to walk, too.
Well, you can't leave the car in the middle of the road.
Well, I'll call William. He'll pick it up.
Now, that's childish, isn't it?
Well, then we'll all get in the car.
Sylvia, we're walking.
See how grown up Sammy has become. He doesn't think anything of ordering me about now, especially in front of you, Mother Goldberg. There's nothing like responsibility to make a person straight. I'm afraid I'll have to be very careful in what I do, or Sammy will be very cruel to me. Well, Sammy says go home. That means I have to. Do you want to drive home with me, Rosie? No, thank you, Sylvia. I want to walk with Sammy. All right? All right. If Sammy tells you how much he hates it here, don't worry about it. Because Sammy knows I'll go anywhere he wants me to. Even back to Lassenberry. If he wants it that way after we're married. I told you that, didn't I, Sammy?
Yes, Sylvia.
Working in my father saw was only an experiment, Mother Goldberg. And if Sammy wants to continue to write, Sammy knows how I feel about that. Anything Sammy wants to do, I want to do with him. Isn't that right, Sammy?
That's right, Sylvia.
I just wanted you to know it. I want you to tell Sammy, Rosie, and Mother Goldberg that whatever you thought or felt about me in Lassenberry is all over. Sammy, your mother and I and Rosie understand each other.
Sylvia, this is silly.
Well, it isn't, darling. It isn't. Can I see you a moment?
Just a minute, Ma.
All right, Sammy. Oh, I'm afraid Sammy's going to tell us. Poor Sammy. Poor Sammy. Are you going to tell him that we know what happened? I don't know. If I knew the reason, if I knew why they crossed, everything would be easier for me. Ask him more. Maybe it's better if I wait until I see. The brother-in-law, Ed. He'll wait, Rosalie. We'll see how much Sammy will tell us without asking. How do you think Sammy looks, Ma? Bad. Very bad. But I'm here now, Rosalie. I'm here. She's asking him, Ma. Look, don't look that way. Turn around to me, Rosalie. Don't stare. She's scared, Ma. That can just be a quarrel. That can just be a quarrel, Rosalie. For those, there wouldn't be so much maneuvering and so much to talk about. There's something more, Mama. And if Sammy don't tell me, all right. All right. Mama will find out. I'll find out, and I'll find out at once. Funny, Mama. I'm sorry for Sylvia and Elaine. Are you? I'm sorry for Sammy. Sammy, I'm sorry. Sammy, but why couldn't we all drive back?
Oh, because I couldn't do this with anybody around.
What couldn't you do?
This?
Family, you too, Sammy. Me too.
You look beautiful, Rosie. How's Pa?
Papa's fine.
Did you have a nice trip down?
Very. Let's walk on the other side of the street, huh? It's not so sunny. Yes, a little shady on the other side. Come, Sammy, let me hold your hand.
All right.
Hold Sammy's hand, Rosie. Oh, you're taller, Sammy. I think so. We wanted to surprise you, Sammy, but we were surprised not to find you here.
Well, I didn't expect you.
That's what Sylvia said.
Oh.
Seymour and Uncle David are here also.
Seymour and Uncle David?
Mm-hmm. Seymour was supposed to help Papa drive.
Uh-huh. Well, how do you like it here?
Inside?
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Did you meet everyone?
We met Miss Allison, and of course, and we met Leah. But we didn't met Leah's husband yet, Ed. Family, darling, tell me, how do you like working in the store, Miss Allison?
Oh, it's all right.
He has a very big store. Papa thinks it's wonderful. Yes, Papa thinks it's wonderful. It's a wonderful store, department store. And it's a very nice town.
Very.
Sam, I noticed Sylvia changed a lot.
Has she?
She sounds changed.
Oh, maybe that's because you haven't seen her in so long. Do I seem changed?
Uh-huh.
In what way?
But very... You look older.
Much older?
So... different family. Maybe it's because I keep remembering you as a little boy, and now you're a man. Not because only that you look down on me from way up there because you're taller, and not even because you're going to be married, but you're a man because you're grown up. I mean, in your eyes, family, your eyes look grown up.
Have they changed their color?
No, the look.
The look?
Mm-hmm. When eyes have seen different things, eyes change too, Sammy.
You're the same, Ma. Exactly the same.
Yes? And you're glad?
I wouldn't want you to be any different.
Rosalie, darling.
Yes, Mom?
Maybe you would run in and get me a few stamps. I have to write a billion letters to Mark and to Mrs. Bloom, and I'm all out of stamps.
But, Ma...
Go, Rosalie, Molly. Go down. Sam and I will wait outside for you.
Well, there are stamps at the Allisons, Ma.
Rosalie don't mind.
All right. Can I have some money?
Yes.
Yeah, here.
Pamela has money.
What kind, Ma?
Trees and air mail.
All right.
Kind of warm in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Were the apple blossoms out when you left, Ma?
The buds were just coming. Family, we missed you. We missed you so much. Everybody in the village missed you. Then when we came here, and you wasn't here, we were so disappointed. Then we found out you were supposed to be away on business for Mr. Allison. And then, of course, when you didn't even call up, and so on. Do you always go on such trips, Pamela?
No.
Is that your first trip?
Yes.
And you're not going to go anymore?
I don't think so.
Oh. Pamela, is there something you want to tell me?
Only that I'm glad you're here.
That's all?
What else?
What else? Everything. Everything, family. Or anything. For family. Nothing.
Molly can see the trouble in Sammy's eyes, and she longs for the words that will suddenly open her son's heart to her. But Sammy's silent. Why doesn't he tell Molly the truth?
countdown for blast-off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, The Outer Limit, by Graham Dorr. We go ahead now in time to 1965. We're on a vast concrete runway set in the desert of the Southwest. A giant metal ship stands before us, prow pointed for the stars. And in 5 minutes, the signal will flash and it will tear up through the atmosphere to the outer limit.
Attention! Attention! Clear field for takeoff! Clear field!
5 minutes, Steve.
Right. Warm her up, Charlie.
Turn her over!
I want to go over procedure again, Steve.
Don't worry, I got it straight.
We'll just make sure.
Okay, I take her up on jets to 50,000, then I cut in the rockets.
No lower, or your tail blast will burn out 3 counties.
I climb 4 minutes on rockets, then start maneuver tests.
Remember that, no more than 4 minutes. This ship isn't like those strato rockets that you've been testing. She's the first one built for outer space. If she works, you can go clear to the moon.
If I'd have known, I'd have brought my toothbrush.
Not this trip. Now get this, Steve. You've got power there to clear the Earth's gravitational field, but remember, after you cut in the rockets, you've only got 10 minutes fuel. If you go beyond the outer limit and don't save fuel for the return, you won't get down again, ever. You'll drift out into space. Get that now. 10 minutes fuel.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, this project is a lot more important than that cosmic ray bomb that they're testing out in the Pacific tonight.
Well, the Security Commission brass doesn't think so. I don't see any undersecretaries under anything.
Don't you worry, Steve. In the long run, our ship will make the CR bomb back-page stuff. But in the meantime, it's just as dangerous. Now, remember, half the principles in this ship are pure theory, slide rule stuff. If anything goes wrong, we may have to scrape you off the landscape with a soup spoon.
You have a charming sense of humor.
Here's what I'm getting at, Steve. We're risking your neck in this test. Anything blows, we don't want to have the next man pull the same boner. So keep your mic open. Keep talking. If anything goes wrong, we want to know exactly why. And we won't be able to ask you. Let us know before you pull every switch. Before you do anything. Got that? Even if you only have to blow your nose.
All right, get those fuel lines away.
Well, I guess that's about all, Steve.
Hey, that reminds me. If Mary calls, I'm just up on a milk run. I didn't tell her today was it.
How is Mary?
She's okay, but she's due about now, and I don't want her to get nervous.
Hey, I didn't know the baby was that close. Steve, you know, I really ought to be sending a single man on this job.
What, and cutting me out of a soft paycheck? Forget it, Hank. You know you can't get anybody else who can take 15 G's acceleration when those rockets cut in.
Yeah, I know. It's time, Steve.
Yeah. I'll see you later. Don't worry, Hank. I'll sweat for both of us. Button her up, Charlie. So long, Hank.
So long. We'll give you the light from control.
X2 JTR to control. Are you there yet, Hank?
Okay, Steve. I'm ready to go.
Mr. Hanson.
Ready on the radar, Sergeant?
Okay.
Mr. Hanson, you better see this.
What is it, Elsie?
Message sent up for Steve. Mrs. Weston just left for the hospital.
What? Hello, Steve.
Yeah.
Stand by a minute.
Shall I hold it up, Mr. Hanson?
Yes. No, wait just a minute. It's too late now.
You going to tell her?
Well, maybe he's got enough to worry about.
Hey, what's holding us up, Hank? Something on your mind?
No, there's nothing, Steve. I just wanted to say good luck. All right, Charlie. Give him the light. All right, Steve, I'm reading you clear.
I'm at 20,000. Airspeed 600. It's running fine. Soundproofing works. There's a 3-degree waiver in the AGY pressure.
Got that, Charlie?
Check. Dead center on radar, Mr. Hanson.
50,000 now. I'm cutting loose the port jet. Now to starboard. Now I'm off jets. Airspeed dropping. Now I'm opening the rocket ports. The switch sticks a little, Charlie. Oxy-alcohol pressure 350. All right, now I'm advancing the ignition key. Here goes rocket 1.
Steve? Steve, you all right?
Yeah. Feels like somebody slugged me with a sledgehammer. Airspeed now 1,200. Here goes number 2. She's okay, Hank. Running like a Swiss watch. She's okay.
Hello, Steve. Your elapsed rocket's time is now 4 minutes. What's your altitude? Over to you.
The speed 4,400, still climbing. Altitude 297 miles.
All right. You're at the outer limit. Level off for maneuver tests. You've got exactly 6 minutes fuel left.
I'm starting at 3-degree left bank. She's a little sluggish. There, it's all right. There's a low vibration somewhere. Maybe the cockpit cover. My view screen's a little fogged. Now I'm straightening out.
5 minutes fuel left.
Now I'm starting at 3-degree right. Hey,
What's the matter? What's wrong?
There's something up here. Something shining.
What are you talking about?
There's something above me, Hank. I'm going to chase it.
Steve, you're at the outer limit now.
I can see it plain now.
Now, Steve, don't go any higher. You've only got 4 minutes left. You've only got...
I'm getting static. I can't hear you, Hank. It's dead ahead now. I'm going to make a pass at it and get a good look. Here goes. Hey, it's swerving to meet me. It's dead ahead now. Look out, it's dead ahead.
Hello, Steve. Steve, come in.
9 minutes fuel gone.
There's still no sign
Hello.
of radar.
Hello, Steve. What happened? Charlie, get the crash squad out. Tell the Army squadron to alert their search plane.
Right.
9.5 minutes gone.
Hello, Steve. Steve, listen to me. What's happened? Where the devil is he? Hello. Come in, Steve. Steve, come in. Hello, Steve. Hello, Steve.
10 minutes.
Steve.
That's the end of the fuel.
How long has it been now?
10 hours, Mr. Hanson.
Nothing more on radar, Sergeant?
Screen's blank.
Colonel Carulli called in. The search planes are back. Couldn't find anything.
Should be some trace.
He couldn't have bailed out, could he?
You don't hit the silk at 4,400 miles an hour. We either went past the outer limit and ran out of fuel, or something blew, and we'll find the pieces scattered from here to the coast. Why does it have to be the best man? Always the best man. Charlie, we got to figure out what was wrong.
Right.
Something must have blown.
Goodbye. Mr. Hanson, there's a message from Northside Hospital for Steve.
Well, what is it?
Mrs. Weston is fine. It's a boy.
Oh, thank you, Elsie. It's a boy, Charlie.
Yeah.
Fine. It's a boy. We didn't even know that she went to the hospital. How am I going to tell Mary that?
No, it wasn't your fault, Mr. Hanson. The ship was tested.
Yeah, we'll build another, and some other flying fool will shoot past the outer limit into space. Well, I'm getting old, Charlie. You can remember when I used to take them up myself. Now I've got to send other men.
Look, it's a job, Mr. Hanson.
Now I'm afraid. Every time I hear a jet go off, I jump. Every time I have to send somebody up in a new model, I start to sweat.
Mr. Hanson.
Yeah?
I think I've got something on the radar.
No flights scheduled in, are there, Elsie?
No, the whole day's cleared.
Coming in behind us. Here he comes over the building.
Yeah. What crazy jockey is buzzing the field like that? Is that an Army plane, Charlie?
No, I can't see. Here he comes back again. I know that engine. Yes, it's Steve.
That's impossible.
Look, that's his ship.
It can't be.
He's circling back for landing.
Charlie, clear the field.
He's coming back in. reason there's not another ship in the world that looks like that. I tell you, it's got to be Steve.
Thank God. All right, sit down over there, Steve. Quicker we get this done, the quicker you get over to see Mary and the baby. Elsie, give the order to check and refuel the rockets. I don't want anybody in here till I get Steve's reports. Bury any calls. All right, Steve, let's have it. What the devil happened to you?
Hank, that cosmic ray bomb. Does it still go off tonight?
What are you talking about? Straighten out, Steve. Where have you been for the last 10 hours?
Listen, Hank, there's something more important.
Now, come on. I've got to get a report on the screen to Washington, so let's have it, will you? I've got to know how you stretched 10 minutes fuel to keep you in the air for 10 hours.
One thing before
now,
I talk.
Look, Steve.
Will you have the Geiger men run over the ship before they refuel?
What did you run into?
So help me, Hank, I don't know. We better check and make sure it isn't radioactive.
Elsie, add a Geiger report on the standard check. Steve, maybe we better have the medics look you over, too.
No, I'm all right. They said I'd be all right.
They? Look, son, I know you've had a tough time, but we've had this field on the alert for 10 hours, boy. One of the Army boys cracked up looking for you, and he's hurt bad. So let's have the story. Let's have it straight.
I don't know how to tell you, Hank. Hank, I saw something up there.
At 300 miles?
I chased something up there, Hank, and I caught it.
Now, don't hand me that, Steve.
Listen. I was cruising along, just starting the right bank when I spotted something. Must have been going about half my speed. It was egg-shaped and smooth. I made a pass at it, and I came back for another, and then there was a humming sound.
Humming?
Sort of a vibration. And then I blacked out. I was headed straight for it at 4,400 miles an hour. I thought it was going to be the biggest smash since Hiroshima. And listen, Hank, is there a drink in that bottle?
Yeah, sure. Well? What happened?
Hank, I came to inside their ship.
Steve, this whole thing has been a devil of a strain on you. I'm going to call Major Donaldson from the Army base, ask him to sit in.
The psychiatrist? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let him run his tests. He'll tell you I'm not kidding. Because, Hank, unless I miss my guess, I've just been tipped off to the way the world ends.
You should be getting drowsy now. Count backwards from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3.
He's under. Now we attach the head plate electrodes and the cortical pickup. Look up for that way, Mr. Hanson. 3.0 setting and 31.3. Now, throw that switch, Mr. Hanson. I have to start him off by suggestion. All right, Steve. You're in your ship now. You're in the rocket.
Rocket?
You're in the rocket. You're in the rocket, and you've just sighted something strange.
Now I'm starting at 3 degree right.
What's that?
Hey, there's something up there. Something shining.
His memory pattern. We're picking it up electronically.
Something above me, Hank. I'm going to chase it.
Right through the audio circuits.
Getting static. I can't hear you, Hank.
This is where we lost contact with him.
I'm going to make a pass at it. Hey, it's swerving to meet me. It's dead ahead now. Look out. It's dead ahead.
Now what?
This is where he blacked out. No telling how long. Minutes or hours.
What's that noise?
I don't know.
Where? How did I get here? What? Who are you?
Is he seeing things?
Galactic Patrol. What's that?
Well, what are they saying, Steve? What are they saying?
It's about nuclear fission. They know about it. They know the danger of it. Long ago, they had wars that almost destroyed them. Finally, they learned. Now they've outlawed war.
Go on, Steve.
They patrol space. When their detector picks up an atomic explosion, they send a patrol. They've been observing Earth, and they found wars and rumors of wars.
What are they going to do?
They've quarantined us.
Quarantine?
They've isolated all Earth because we're infected with a communicable disease. Because we don't know how to control ourselves yet. Until we learn, we'll be a menace to the whole universe.
What is this nonsense?
Quiet. How are they going to do it, Steve?
Well, they've spread out a layer here of I don't know what to call it. It's all around the Earth. It's miles deep. And when there's an atomic explosion on Earth, the radioactive particles will drift up to this layer and set off a chain reaction. It'll go around the world in microseconds, and that's the end. Yes? Yes, I understand. You've got to bring back the warning. You're going to put me back in my ship to bring the warning.
Now what?
Blacked out again. I guess that's all.
What does all that mean?
It's what he remembers.
You don't think that really happened?
No. Narco-psychometry circuits produce what he remembers. Just means that Steve believes this happened.
I don't like to see this. I've seen too many top pilots snap. Steve is the best I've known. How bad do you think he is?
Well, frankly, outside of the presence of this well-organized hallucination, there are no signs of unbalance. May not be too serious. If he had a more plausible story, I'd be inclined to believe him.
Warning. Hank.
It's all right, boy.
Did you hear it, Hank? Do you understand?
Oh, sure. We've been quarantined.
Now, let me give you something to make you sleep, Steve.
But don't you understand? They fixed it so that if we set off one more nuclear explosion, we will have had it.
Of course. Now, don't roll your sleeve down.
You don't believe me?
Now, take it easy, Steve.
But the tests are setting off the cosmic ray bomb, Hank, tonight. What time is it?
11:20.
It's scheduled for midnight. Hank, we've got to stop that bomb.
Let Donaldson give you the hypos.
You got to believe me. I saw them. I got the warning. If we touch off the Q-bomb tonight, we'll be the biggest galactic 4th of July of all time. The whole Earth will go up like a Roman candle. April 10th, 1965, the end.
Look, Steve, you better calm down now. Don't you want to see Mary and the baby? You've got a new son, remember?
That's just it. I want to see my son. I want him to live. If the bomb goes off, Hank, we've got to stop it.
Mr. Hanson, I think we'd better get over to the base hospital.
Hank, you got to believe me.
Sure, Steve. Maybe there's something to it. Look, it's out of our hands now, Steve. I'll put it in a report, shove it into Washington in the morning.
In the morning? There won't be any morning, Hank. You've got to call Washington now. Get the head of the Security Commission and postpone the test.
Now, you know I can't do that. My neck would be out a mile. Besides, this is 1965, not 45. 20 countries have the atomic bomb now. What's the use of stopping just this one? The rest will keep right on popping them off.
Well, we'll have to call an international conference. Can't you understand, Hank? The first one that goes off finishes us. It's the end. They've given us a quarantine warning.
Steve, I think you'd better go with us to the base hospital.
Look, Steve, we can call up for a detail if we have to.
All right, I'll go with you. You don't need a straitjacket.
That's the way, Steve. You'll probably feel better by morning. Let's go.
Tomorrow I'll drive you over to the hospital to see Mary and the kid.
Yeah, sure.
Look at the ship under the floodlights. Pretty, huh? You'll be flying her again soon, Steve. Don't worry.
Yeah, I guess so. What's she doing out on the line? They refuel her?
Yeah, we got Clausewitz coming in tomorrow from Denver for another test. Figure we'd give you a day off.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine.
Steve.
Hey, go.
Come on, Donaldson. Steve! Steve, come back here.
He's heading for the rocket.
That's crazy. Steve! Get down off of there, Steve! We can't get at him now. That hood is armor glass.
Hey, he's waving.
It's control. The radio. Come on.
I should have gotten help.
Come on. The radio is still hooked up. Hello, Steve.
Listen to me, Hank. You got to call Washington now.
Look, Steve, come out of the rocket.
I'll call my men, Henson.
Don't try anything, Hank. They refueled the rocket for tomorrow.
Take it easy, Steve.
Listen, you know what'll happen if I fire the rocket tubes down here?
Steve, don't, please.
It'll burn out every building for 5 miles. All of us in one big blast.
What do you want, Steve?
You got to stop that bomb. You got to call Washington now.
They won't believe me.
You make that call or I cut in the rocket. I mean it, Hank. You hook my screen to yours in parallel. I want to see exactly what you're doing.
All right. Just don't fire those rockets.
Get going, Hank. You got 12 minutes to make that call and stop the bomb.
All right. I'm making the parallel hookup now. Donaldson, you think he'll really blast?
I don't know. Up to now, I'd almost say it was normal, but this Hanson, he's liable to do anything.
Steve, there, you getting it on your screen?
Yeah. Now put that call through.
All right.
Operator.
Visit screen to Washington.
The visit screen circuits are busy, sir. If you try again in half an hour.
This is a Security Commission priority. Break in. Get me a line.
Just a moment, please.
10 minutes, Hank.
Listen, Steve, I'm trying.
Ready to take your call, sir.
Washington Security Commission 3. Urgent. I want Undersecretary Herbert Ames.
Washington 3. 1 moment, please.
Hurry, will you, please?
1 moment, please.
Chicago.
San Marco calling Washington visit screen 3. Urgent.
Washington 3. 1 moment, please.
What time is it, Donaldson?
11:51.
Do you think he'll fire those rockets?
He might.
Washington.
Go ahead, San Marco.
Visit screen 3. Mr. Herbert Ames.
That is a coded exchange. I cannot accept your call without clearance.
Listen, Washington, put this through. This is Mr. Hanson of Hanson Rockets Incorporated at San Marco Air Base. This is a priority call. I'm coded.
1 moment, please. I will check your code number.
Get it through, Hank. That bomb goes off at 12.
Will you be reasonable, Steve?
Your call has cleared, San Marco. Washington visit screen 3. Herbert Ames.
This is your call, sir.
Security Commission. Ames. Oh, hello, Hanson.
Listen, Ames. You've got to get me the chief.
You kidding? He's at the test control room.
Yes, I know, but get him for me.
Hey, what's up? You look lousy. Or is it a bad circuit?
There's no time, Ames. I've got to get him before the test. It's about the ray bomb.
I can't take the responsibility.
Get it through, Hank, or I blast.
Hey, what's going on there?
Ames, my project has a high enough rating. This is a priority A call.
What? Well, it's your neck. Okay, I'll try to get him for you. He's in the control room, though. You'll have to switch off your screen and speaker and go on earphones. Too much going on in there. Security, you know.
You hear that, Steve? I've got to cut the screen.
All right. 8 minutes, Hank.
Hello? Hello? Yes, sir. This is Hanson at San Marco. No, sir. Priority A request to cancel the bomb test. No, look, I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. We sent the X-2JTR up today to the outer limit, and we uncovered evidence. Yes, on the automatic instruments. What's that? No, this possible chain reaction. No, I can't tell you the whole story. There isn't time. Yes, I'll bring the readings into Washington in the morning. You've got to postpone the test till you see them. Yes, I understand that. I understand about the press. I'll take complete responsibility for this. What's that? Look, I've worked on contracts for the Commission for 10 years now. Yes, I have complete confidence in my information. You can record that. All right. I'll call you back immediately. Goodbye.
Hank?
He's agreed to cancel. The ray bomb won't go off.
Thank God.
All right, Steve. You can come down out of the ship.
Here he comes. He's opening up.
All right, Steve. Come on down out of the ship.
Sure, Hank. Hank, I was scared. I was plain scared.
All right, easy now. It's all over. Bomb won't go off.
Thank God. Hey, look. I want to see Mary and the baby. Can you get me transportation now?
Hey, wait a minute. It's almost 12. They won't let you in the hospital now.
I want to see the baby.
Well, sure you do, but you've been under strain. I've got a shot here for you, Steve. Give you a good night's sleep. All right. Roll up your sleeve.
Sure.
Now, that'll make you sleep. Sergeant will find you a bed.
Come on, Mr. Weston. Well, good night, Hank. I am kind of beat. It's been a tough night.
Sure has. Thought for a minute he was going to blast those rockets and send us all to Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Quite a stunt getting the ray bomb test called off.
It isn't called off.
But the call?
Ames couldn't get the chief. I was talking to a blank screen. Bomb goes off in a couple of minutes.
Oh. Poor Steve. He's one of the best.
He was the best. 1 in 10 million.
Some story of his, poor guy. For a while, he almost had me believing that quarantine. That's a very common delusion. The end of the world.
Last night, never saw the stars so bright.
Better be getting in. The wind is cold.
Bomb goes off in 30 seconds. Poor Steve.
You know, Hanson, there's just one thing.
Yeah?
It's outside my field, but I'm curious. How did he keep that ship in the air for 10 hours with only 10 minutes fuel?
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Outer Limit by Graham Doar, as adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Joseph Julian, Wendell Holmes, Joe DeSantis, Bob Hastings, James Dukas, and Freddie Chandler. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
You don't have to stop whatever you're doing to listen to your radio. Though you may have a lot to do whatever you've got to do. NBC will still get through with music and drama, a life panorama. NBC's always got something brewing. Listen and you'll agree that there's always a smile from a twist of the dial to radio. NBC.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1.
Can you predict the future? Can you tell what will come in 100 years? Or in 10? Or in the next minute? Tonight we present two ventures into the unknown. Two fantasies of the future, chosen from the works of one of our most brilliant young science fiction writers, Ray Bradbury. First, his story entitled, There Will Come Soft Rains. The house was a good house, planned and built to be lived in the year 1980. The real estate agent had told them all about it.
Now, this is the bedroom. Of course, it contains all the latest devices, self-warming blankets, and, there's a brand new feature. Beds, which make themselves. Now, if you just step this way through the library, we can see the latest in talking book recorders, self-building fireplace, self-cleaning robot dust disposal. Oh, these little mouse-like things come out of the wall and take away all the dirt. Now, over this way. As a complete robot kitchen, of course. Just set the menu for the week and the stove does the rest. Then there's the automatic hydroponic garden, self-sprinkling fire protection. See, the house is fully automatic. Well, you could go away for a year and it would run itself.
And so the family took the house. The man and the woman and the two children. A boy and a girl. And they lived contentedly, enjoying music and poetry and the rich, warm things in life. And the house fed them and slept them and entertained them. It made a good life for them. Until one day, there were 10,000 explosions, and the world shook, and red fire and ashes and radioactivity fell from the sky. The happy time was over.
Tick-tock, 7 o'clock, time to rise, open your eyes. Tick-tock, 7 o'clock, time to rise, open your eyes.
But the house lay empty. The clock talked to the empty morning. In the kitchen, the stove sighed and ejected from its warm interior 8 eggs, sunny side up, 12 bacon slices, 2 coffees, and 2 cups of hot cocoa.
7-9, breakfast time, come and dine. 7-9.
Today is April 28th, 1985. Today, remember, is Mr. Featherstone's birthday. Insurance, gas, atom heat, and electricity bills are due.
In the walls, relays clicked. Memory tapes glided under electric eyes. Recorded voices moved beneath steel meters.
8-1, run, run, off to school, off to work, run, run, tick-tock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
But no doors slammed. No carpets took the quick tread of rubber heels. At 8:30, the eggs began to shrivel. An aluminum wedge scraped them into the sink.
9:15, time to clean. 9:15, time to clean.
Out of the wall, hundreds of tiny mechanical mice darted. The rooms were acrawl with small, cleaning animals, all rubber and metal. They sucked up the hidden dust and dirt and popped back into their burrows. At 10 o'clock, the sun came out from behind the rain. The house stood alone on a street where all the other houses were rubble and ashes. At night, the ruined town gave off a radioactive glow which could be seen for miles. At 10:15, the garden sprinkler filled the soft morning air with golden fountains. The water tinkled over the charred west side of the house, the side which had been facing the blast. It was blank, except in 5 places. One of the 5 places was a silhouette of a man mowing a lawn, just as he'd been the instant the radioactivity burned his image into the side of the house. Over there, a woman bent to pick flowers. Still further over, their images burned into the wood, where a small boy, hands flung into the air. Higher up, the image of a thrown ball, and opposite, a girl, her hands raised to catch a ball which never came down. 5 people. 5 spots of paint. On the front porch, the dog whined and shivered. The front door recognized the dog's voice and opened. The dog padded in wearily, thin to the bone, covered with sores. It ran to the kitchen and pawed the kitchen door wildly. Behind the door, the stove was making pancakes which filled the house with their odor, as prescribed by the automatic preset menu selector. The dog frothed, ran insanely, spun in a circle, biting its tail, and died.
1 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
Delicately sensing decay, the regiments of mice hummed out of the walls, soft as blown leaves, their electric eyes glowing.
1:15.
The dog was gone.
2:15.
Bridge tables unfolded from the walls of the patio. Playing cards fluttered onto pads. Martinis appeared on an oaken bench. But the tables were silent, the cards untouched.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Dinner was made, ignored, flushed away. Dishes were washed. In the study, the tobacco stand produced a cigar with half an inch of gray ash upon it, smoking, waiting, waiting. The hearth fire bloomed out of nothing.
9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
The beds began to warm their hidden circuits, and the phonograph spoke from beside the fireplace.
Mrs. McClelland, what poem would you like to hear this evening? Mr. McClelland? Since you express no preference, I shall select at random from among your favorites. Sarah Teasdale, There Will Come Soft Rains.
There will come soft rains, and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire, and not one will know of war. Not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone.
The phonograph finished the poem. The empty chairs faced each other between the silent walls. At 10 o'clock that evening, the house began to die. The wind blew the bough of a falling tree into the kitchen window, smashing it. A bottle of cleaning fluid crashed on the stove. Water pumps shot down from the ceiling. But the solvent spread onto the doors, making fire as it went. Other voices in other rooms taking up the alarm. The windows broke with the heat, and the wind blew in to help the fire. The fire crackled upstairs at paintings, lay hungrily on the beds, devoured the rooms. The house began to shudder. The bared skeleton began to cringe in the heat. The wires revealed as if a surgeon had torn the skin off. Voices screamed in every room. Windows snapped open and shut like undecided mouths. A thousand things were happening at once. Like the interior of a clock shop at midnight, all the clocks were striking, making a merry-go-round of squeaking, whispering, and rushing. In the kitchen, the stove, hissing hysterically, was making breakfast at a psychopathic rate. 10 dozen pancakes, 6 dozen loaves of toast. Then, there was silence. The film spools were burned out. The wires withered and the circuits cracked. Then the house began to breathe its last. The beams began to give at the foundations. Long cracks appeared in the concrete. The seams were burst from the heat. And finally, with a huge rumble, it crashed into dust and rumble. Dawn shone faintly in the east. In the ruins of the house, only one wall remained standing. And within the wall even as the sun rose to shine upon the burning rubble, a voice spoke again and again and again.
No one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone, that we were gone, that we were gone, that we were gone.
Today is April 29th, 1985. Today is April 29th, 1985.
Strange are the uses of Providence. Is this how the end will come for mankind, with 10,000 explosions and a flash of radioactive gas? Or will destruction come more subtly, extended to us gently and innocently in, let's say, the hand of a child? Who knows in what manner 0 hour may arrest the world we know? It was a perfect summer day in the year 1985. The streets were lined with green, peaceful trees. Businessmen sat in their quiet offices, taping their voices or watching televisors. Rockets hovered like darning needles in the blue sky. There was the universal quiet conceit and easiness of men accustomed to peace, quite certain that there would never be war or trouble again. There were no traitors among men, no unhappy ones, no disgruntled ones. The world was upon stable ground. Sunlight illumined the suburbs, and the town drowsed on a tide of warm, sunlit air. On the lawns, the children played, catapulting this way and that across the green grass, shouting at each other, holding hands, flying in circles, climbing trees, and laughing. And in the homes, busy mothers prepared for the evening arrival of their husbands.
Heavens, Mick, what's all the excitement?
We're playing a game, Mommy, the most exciting game ever.
What are you doing in that cabinet?
I need some tools from Daddy's kit.
Your father may not like...
Oh, I'll take good care of them, Mom, I promise.
Very well. Don't you lose anything.
Oh, thank you, Mom.
You want a glass of milk?
Can't start now, Mom.
What's the name of the game, Mink?
Invasion.
Invasion. What will they think of next?
Now put that there and bring that over here. Oh, no, you ninny. Now get back while I fix this. There, they want it this way, see? Here, just let me fix it. Oh, Mink, it's that smarty pants Joseph Connors. Don't let him play. He's 12 years old. Don't worry, I won't.
What you playing, Mink?
None of your business, smarty pants.
I want to play.
Can't.
Why not?
You're too old.
Just because you're only 8.
No, you'd only laugh at us and spoil the invasion. Make him go away, man. Go away. This is my backyard.
Who wants to play with you and your old fairies anyway?
They aren't fairies.
Enough to you. I don't want to play anyway.
Good riddance. I'm glad you didn't let him play, Mink. He'd only laugh. Now, we'd better talk to Drill and get some more instructions, Art. Now, here's your pad and pencil.
Where is Drill?
Drill? Here, Drill. Drill? He's in the rose bush, I think. I'll talk to him myself, and you write it down in the pad.
Okay.
Drill? Drill? Okay. Drill wants you to write down triangle.
What's a triangle?
Never mind. Drill will tell us when he wants us to know. It helps the invasion.
How do you spell it?
Well, I'll ask Drill. Drill, how do you spell...
Here's your mother, looking out the window.
Mink? Yes, Mother?
Who are you talking to?
The rose bush, Mom. Only it's not really a rose bush. That's Drill.
Who's Drill?
He's planning the invasion.
Oh, I see. Well, you better come in and clean up for supper. Your daddy will be home soon.
In just a second, Mom. You got that, Art?
See now what?
4, 9, 7, and A, and B, and X, and a fork, and some string, and a hexagonal droopy.
Come on, Mink. Supper's in 10 minutes.
Okay, Mom. Just a minute. I have to tell Drill. I wish we didn't have to eat, though. It holds up the invasion.
heaven's sake, slow down. You'll choke on that soup.
I can't, Mom. It's a matter of life and death.
What's the matter of life and death?
The invasion.
What invasion is that?
Oh, just some silly game the children have been playing.
Well, whatever it is, Mink, it'll wait until you've finished your supper, I'm sure.
I don't want any more.
You've barely touched anything.
Oh, but Drill is waiting for me, Daddy.
Drill? Who's Drill?
He lives in a rose bush in our backyard. Imagination, Henry.
Such nonsense.
I've got to run now.
You'll sit through dessert, young lady.
Oh, gee, Daddy.
And while you're at it, tell me more about this new game.
It's Martians invading Earth, Daddy.
What?
Well, not exactly Martians, Daddy. They're from... Well, gee, I don't know. From up.
And from inside that little head of yours.
You're laughing at me. Drill said you would. You'll kill Drill and everybody.
Oh, I didn't know you could kill a Martian.
But it's not really a Martian, Mom. Maybe it's from Jupiter or Venus, even.
Imagine.
They couldn't figure out a way to attack the Earth. We are impregnable.
Impregnable, dear.
Well, that's the word Drill said, Well, anyway, that was the word, Mom, the same word. Anyway, so we're helping them.
Now, who's helping who?
So the kids are helping the Martians.
Well, fifth column, eh?
Well, Drill says in order to make a good fight, you got to have a new way of surprising the people. That way you win. And he says also you got to have help from your enemy.
Pretty slick, those Martians, using the kids for a fifth column, eh, Mary?
And hiding under rose bushes, too, Henry. Don't forget that.
Well, that's because grown-ups never look under rose bushes. Only kids.
Oh, I see. Well, finish your fruit, darling. You can play for an hour afterward.
Mary.
Oh, it's so nice out, Henry. There's no school tomorrow.
Very well. Till 8 o'clock.
Drill says after the invasion, we can stay up as late as we want. No more bets, either.
Oh, is that so?
We can watch all the grown-up televisor shows.
I don't wonder this invasion has caught on among the kids.
Well, some of the kids are giving us trouble, like Dale Britz and Petey Jarrett. They're growing up, so they won't believe in the invasion. They make fun. Worse than parents, even. I hate them worst. We'll kill them first.
I hope you're saving your father and me for last.
But Drill says you're dangerous.
What?
But I think they'll let me keep you because I'm helping so much. I'll talk to Drill. Maybe we won't have to kill you.
Mary, I think this nonsense has gone far enough.
Can I go out now, please?
Yeah, run along, dear.
Don't worry, Dad. I won't let them hurt you.
Mary, I think the child's taking this game entirely too seriously. Invasion.
Ah, Henry, you know how Mink is. Besides, all children have their aggressions. Better to get them out in the open, I suppose.
Maybe you're right. I was wondering about bridge with the Jacksons tonight, Mary.
All right. But, you look tired, dear. Why don't you sit in the relaxer for a while and get a massage? I'll sew for a while until it's time to... Oh, I wanted to call my sister Helen.
Oh, good. Find out when her husband's going to return my golf clubs.
Televisor.
Would you please connect me with Mrs. Helen Rogerson on Channel 7-2Z, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What is your channel, please?
817X, New Rochelle, New York.
Thank you. Just a moment. Go ahead. You can see your party now.
Hello, Mary. How are things in New York?
Fine, Helen. How are things in Pittsburgh? You look tired.
Oh, I've been having a terrible time with the children.
Sick?
No, just underfoot. They've got a new game that's got me just about crazy. It's called Invasion.
Did you say invasion?
That's right.
Well, isn't that strange? My Mink is playing it, too.
My boy Tim is all involved with some imaginary fellow named Drill who's running the invasion.
Must be a new password. Mink likes him, too.
How do you suppose these games start? My backyard looks like a scrap drive. They've got every conceivable kind of mechanical gadget arranged out there. I talked to Josephine Schiller in Boston, and she says her kids are wild about it, too. It's sweeping the country.
Remember when it was the Roomba?
Please, dear, I'm not that old.
Mommy!
Oh, please, Minky, I'm on the televisor. Come on, see your Aunt Helen.
Hello, Mink.
Hi, Aunt Helen. Look what I've got.
What is it, honey?
Well, it's a yo-yo. Look what I enrolled in. See?
Well, Helen, look, it vanished. Where did it go?
Into another dim...
She means dimension. Aren't they the darndest thing? My Timmy brought one home, too. I can't figure out how they work. Make it reappear, honey.
There. See, it's easy.
Where'd you get it, dear?
Drill gave it to me, Mom.
Mink?
Bye, Aunt Helen. Gotta run now.
Mink, you come back here. I want to talk to you.
Hands off 0 hours, 5 o'clock.
Mink!
Bye!
Oh, I can't understand it. The child's never been so unruly. Helen, do you suppose that...
What?
Nothing. Just a wild thought that... Say, the reason I called, I want to get that black and white cake recipe, and Henry wants his golf clubs. I don't know what he'll do, but...
What was that?
I don't know. One of the children must have been hurt. I'll have to run and see. Call me back tonight, will you?
All right, Mary. Bye.
Mink, come here.
Yes, Mom.
What is it? Who screamed?
Peggy Ann.
All right, what happened?
Well, she got scared and went home.
Did you hit her?
No, she just got scared. She's a scare baby anyway. We won't let her play anymore. She's getting too old.
Now, Mink, tell me why she cried.
No, I can't.
Mink, you'll answer me this instant or come inside. I've had enough of this nonsense.
Gee, I can't quit now, Mom. It's almost 0 hour.
Then tell me what frightened Peggy Ann.
Okay, she saw Drill.
Drill?
He almost came through. He was just testing.
Through what?
Well, those pipes and things we set up. She looked into one of the pipes and screamed. I guess she saw Drill.
And no one hit her?
Uh-uh.
Very well, Mink. I'll call Peggy Ann's mother and see how she is. And I'll call you for your bath in half an hour. Your father and I want to go out tonight.
You won't be able to go out, Mom.
Why not?
0 hours, 5 o'clock, Mom.
Hello, dear.
Oh, you home already, Henry?
Yes, I thought I'd relax a little before we went to theater. Where's the little one?
Out back.
Same game?
Same game. They've got a stack of pipes and hammers and spoons a mile high out there.
Children, why do we have them?
Yeah, strange little creatures, aren't they? Even Mink, Henry. She's a part of us, and yet what do we really know about how she thinks and feels?
Oh, I didn't mean to start a philosophic discussion.
Kids are such a queer mixture of love and hate, though. Even normal, healthy kids. They need you and they're dependent on you, and yet they resent that dependence.
You sound like a child psychology course I once took.
I wonder if they ever really forgive the whippings and the commands we have to give them sometimes. I wonder if we ever forgot them when we were children.
Look, I'd like to discuss this with you, dear, but we do have a theater date, and it's almost 5 o'clock now. What's happened to the kids? They're so quiet. When children are quiet, you know there's some mischief. What's that sound?
I don't know.
These kids aren't playing with anything electrical, are they?
I'm sure they are. At least I...
Just the same, I'd better go out.
Henry, tell them to put off the invasion.
What? Mary, don't get upset. It's just a game. Good Lord, what's that? Look out the window, Mary. What is it? Where are the children? Mary, why are you shaking? What did you see?
Henry, quick. Up to the attic.
They aren't in the attic.
Yes, the attic. Quick.
Mary, come back here. Mary! Mary, don't go up. They aren't up there. Mary, you out of your mind? There's no one up here.
Quick, shut the door.
What? There's nothing up here. What is wrong with you? Mary, come to your senses.
Henry, we've got to stay here and hide.
What are you talking about?
I saw it. Through the window, Henry. It was horrible.
What?
It is an invasion.
For heaven's sake, let's get down out of this attic and talk this over sensibly. I want to find out if Mink is all right.
She's all right. I saw her. She was leading them around the corner of the house.
Leading who? The kids? It's nothing.
Listen. The front door. They're coming!
Good Lord, those kids sound like 50 men with boots on.
No, not men. Oh, please, God, don't let them find us. Don't let them please.
I don't understand. Who's there? Who's down there? I demand that you answer me.
They're coming. The whole house is shaking.
Who? Who's there?
Be quiet.
Think. We've got to save her.
You don't understand. She's leading them.
What?
She's leading them. She's on their side. Oh, my God.
The children on their side?
She told us, but we wouldn't believe her. Henry, they're coming out.
Mom? Dad, we know you're in there. Well, I guess you better melt the lock, Trill.
Henry, the lock. It's melting. The door. Oh, dear God.
Mom? Dad? Oh, I see you now. Peek-a-boo!
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
Just 75 miles from Euclidia, one of the rocket planes of the Euclidean scientists is down in the water. This should not prove very serious under ordinary conditions, but something went wrong with the plane. The instruments have failed. And now, even the gas-filled bulkheads which were designed to keep the strange craft afloat have proven worthless. Captain Bradford, Jerry Hall, Cheops, and Thales are helpless in the water as their craft is slowly sinking. On board a Euclidean submarine racing to their aid on the surface of the water are Joan Gregory and the Euclidean girl commander. They are within a few miles of Jerry, the captain, and the two Euclideans who were with them, but it seems as if even this short distance may be too great. The captain and Jerry have a mighty serious problem on their hands.
I think this portion of the plane will float for a few minutes at least.
It better float. We're a long swim from anywhere.
The chances are that this section will stay where it is for some time, and there's no use pulling it underwater until we have to. Now, look, let's all let loose and float in the water where we can reach out and grab that thing if we need it.
Okay, Tex. I'm floating now.
Hello over there on the other side. Cheops, Thales.
Yes, Captain Bradford.
We are here. Are you hanging on to the ship?
We are.
Better let go and give the wreck a chance to stay afloat as long as it will. We might need to climb up on it.
Yeah. We might find a couple of hungry sharks around here.
I am sorry, Captain. It will be impossible for me to release my hold on the wreckage.
Why is that impossible?
I cannot swim.
What?
You can't swim?
I cannot swim.
I am in the same predicament. I cannot swim.
Oh, gee, this is swell, Jerry.
Yeah. Just dandy. Here we are floating around in the Pacific Ocean with a sinking ship and two fellows who can't swim.
And we're all right as long as this wreck stays above water, but those air tanks were all cracked up when we hit, and seams will be opening up any minute.
And when that happens, you and I'll have to try to swim and keep those two above water at the same time.
Right, that's about the size of it, Jerry. You just take care of yourself. I can handle them. They don't lose their heads.
Oh, no, you don't. I can swim as long as you can. We'll take one of those fellows and we'll keep them afloat if we have to put them to sleep.
Right. You men work your way around to our side of this thing.
Very well, Captain. Please, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm coming.
How soon do you think that submarine can get to us, Tex?
No way of telling, Jerry. I don't know what speed it's making or exactly how far we are from the position of Euclidia.
Just to make it real nice, the submarine skipper isn't exactly sure where to look for us.
This is rather an unusual situation, is it not, Captain Bradford?
Well, you might call it that.
It's a situation that wouldn't happen to us if those Euclidean rocket ships were as flame perfect as you claimed they were.
That is true.
You are in a position of advantage now, Hall. You may think your remarks well advised, but let me warn you that once we are back in Euclidia, steps will be taken to curb your tongue.
Now, before you worry about taking any steps to do anything to us, You'd better give a little thought to saving yourselves. This boat won't float for more than a few minutes more. And when it goes down, we'll swim. Swim and float and tread water. And then swim and float some more. Possibly for hours until that rescue submarine locates us and picks us up.
I have told you twice that I do not swim.
Then you don't give any orders. Tex and I can swim and hold you two above water for a little while. If you do as you're told. We'll know how to obey orders.
I suppose you practice it right now. Might save a lot of trouble when the time comes.
What is to be done?
Drop your grip on the side of this boat and turn over on your backs.
Turn on our backs in the water?
Sure. Turn over on your backs. Here, Daly. Give me your hand. Now, don't try to push me through the bottom of the ocean. Just put your hand on my arm. In this manner? Yeah, that'll do.
Now, you do the same, Cheops.
Very well.
Now, turn over on your back. And try lying as flat as possible in the water. Oh, don't worry about your nose. I'll keep it above water.
Very well.
You'll do the same thing, Bailey. I do not feel any particular confidence in you, Paul. And you know how I felt about you all the time. You'd better either get some confidence in me or just swim. I will attempt to turn over on my back. Come on. There you are. That wasn't so hard, was it? It's just a ridiculous position for a scientist.
Maybe, but if Jerry lets your head go into water, your position would be a lot more ridiculous.
I would suggest, Bailey, that you remain silent and be thankful these men are human fish.
It's a good idea, Cheops. Now, you're doing all right with your floating. Now, both of you know how it's done. Here, flop over right side up again and rest on this boat as long as you can.
How about it, Skipper? Will they do?
I think we can handle them, son. If they behave that well after the boat's gone down.
You have no fear of our behavior, have you?
We haven't any fear. But you'd better have it. If Tex and I get tired swimming around with you, we'll do exactly as ordered.
That may save you a lot of trouble. Well, it looks like we've done all we can until the commander arrives with her submarine.
How do you estimate the distance separating us from our rescuer?
I don't. I couldn't even guess.
Well, at least we can't see anything of her submarine. And she said she'd be on the surface. The submarine which the commander is using will project only 10 feet above the water under ordinary conditions.
10 feet. Plus a little if she's riding high and fast.
Yes. If the craft is making its best possible speed, it will stand less than 15 feet above water.
How far over the water can you see something? Only 15 feet high.
Slightly less than 5 miles, isn't it, Cheops?
Yes. Precisely.
If the submarine is proceeding at top speed, it will not be visible to us until within 180 to 240 seconds run of our position. Oh, boy. That's too blame close. If we can't see her any better at that, she can't see this thing half that far. She might run on past us and never know it.
Yes, that is indeed possible.
Let's break a piece out of the top of this ship and get it up into the air now.
That is impossible, Captain. While the construction of this rocket plane has proven inadequate as a protection against a forced landing, you will find it much too strong to be torn apart with the hands.
I suppose so.
And of course, the blame thing turned upside down, so we can't get at the door.
That is another weakness we will remember and remedy when construction of more of these ships is done.
Better fix plenty of these things before you build any more of these. Hey, Tex, look over there.
Where, Jerry? Where?
Look, where I'm pointing. Can't you see something on top of the water?
I can, plainly.
Yes, I should say that was a submarine running on the surface.
Get away from this boat, everybody, quick. She's sinking.
Oh, boy. Sure is.
Do we turn over now?
You doing fast. Grab Thales, Jerry. Let's swim out a few strokes. This thing's going to pull plenty when she goes down.
Right. Turn over, Thales. Now keep your mouth shut. Here we go.
You all right, Jerry?
Yep. I'm okay.
Able to get your breath, Cheops?
I'm suffering no discomfort.
How are you doing, Thales? I do not care for this position being pulled about by my head as a fish on a line. However, it will suffice. You'd better. You'd feel like a fish without any water if I let go of you.
Jerry, that is a submarine. She isn't over half a mile away.
No, but it looks like she's running away from us.
I'm afraid she hasn't seen us yet.
Hey, Commander, Hey, the sub! Hey! Please, exercise greater care, Hall. You nearly let my head sink when you thrashed around in that manner.
Yeah, I've got it. Let me take both of them, Jerry. Here, you men put your hands on my shoulder. Easy now. Okay, son. Now rise up in the water as far as you can and wave your arms.
Okay. It's no use, Tex. She doesn't see us.
Yes, she does, Jerry. She's putting about.
I can't see where that sub's getting any closer.
Well, you won't for a few minutes, probably. She was going at a terrific clip. It'll take us some time to swim around. Get over here to us.
Are you sure that that's the Euclidean submarine?
No doubt of that. Nothing else on the water today could make that kind of speed.
If it is the commander, she will reach us quickly.
Yes, that boat will describe a very small arc and lose headway rapidly.
It's doing that all right. Golly whiskers, Tex. Look at that thing come.
What a sight, Jerry. That girl has straightened it out and heading right for us.
It would be well to signal that she is not to run near us at too great a speed. I imagine that our position would not be too comfortable if the water was rough. You might get part of the ocean in your nose, but we could roll that out of you later.
That will not be necessary. The commander is far too clever to endanger a life she is attempting to save.
You're right again, Caps. Sub is going to come gliding up to us here without even musting the water.
How are we going to board that blame thing? It will not be difficult, I think.
No, Jerry. Remember how the nose of those subs open?
Yeah, I remember.
Look now, Jerry. Look. That boat's only 100 yards from us. The stern is slowly settling under. She drifts up.
I believe the commander will submerge the stern, bring the prow of the submarine to our immediate position in an upward manner, and admit us through the bow airlock.
That's it. It's getting closer. Oh, wiggle out, Bailey. I'll try to keep the water out of your face. I will not move.
Now only the nose of the sub is sticking up out of the water. It's drifting quietly towards us. How that girl can handle that submarine.
She sure is good at it. Hey, in the sub there. You're close enough. Don't push us around with that thing.
Can you see which side the nose is hinged on, Jerry?
Yeah. Right the way it's drifting.
And be sure and stay out from under. You might get hurt when it opens.
I'll watch it.
All right, Caps. Turn over now and take hold of the edge of this hatchway.
Oh, I will do so.
You too, Staley. Get yourself a good tight hold there.
Can you find a handhold, Jerry?
Sure. I'm fine. We are indeed safe.
Oh, Jerry, are you ready?
Joan, what are you doing here?
Hello, Joan. We're all right.
Come aboard quickly. You must be in need of it.
We could sure use it.
You, Bailey, to aboard this vessel first and report to the commander in the central control section.
Do you presume to issue orders to me?
Those are the orders of the commander.
Very well. I shall be pleased enough to be aboard. Well, I'll give you a hand. Up you go. You'll be sort of pleased to catch you off my hands, too.
Can you make it?
I'm nearly within the submarine.
All right, you're next, Caps. Right, Joan?
That is correct, Captain.
Hurry up, Caps. I'm getting tired of this water.
I am making all possible speed.
Is Mrs. Gregor on board the sub with you, Joan?
No, Captain Bradford's mother was resting when we left Euclidia. She does not know of the danger you and Jerry have been in.
That's good. All right, Jerry, in you go.
Oh, you first, Tex.
Orders, Jerry.
All right, Skipper. In I go, then. Nothing but my feelings. I've been holding up that guy Daly's for a long time.
Now, Captain, the way is clear for you.
I'll be right away, Joan. Right in.
Will you please follow the others to the central section? The commander has some hot liquid ready for you. I will remain here to close the port.
I'll help you, Joan.
No, off you go, Captain. It's orders, sir.
Aye, aye, Skipper.
Now, I will close the port and we will return to Euclidia at once.
The Euclidean submarine, carrying the 4 men who were forced down on a test flight of a rocket plane, has landed them safely in the city of Euclidia. The 2 Euclidean scientists, Cheops and Thales, have gone to their own quarters, and the girl submarine commander is reporting the rescue to G-47. In the quarters of the Gregory party, we find our friends very happy over the reunion. Tex and Jerry are dressed in warm, dry clothing. Joan and her mother question them about their flight in the rocket plane.
But it must have been terribly dangerous, Tex.
Well, we've been in worse places.
Well, I never have.
No, Jerry. Your position at the time that rocket plane fell helpless into the water would seem to be about the worst possible situation.
And Tex knows it was. He just doesn't like to worry us.
Nothing to worry about. Those Euclideans had a flying machine that would fly after a fashion, but when their power failed them and the gas tanks developed a leak, they didn't know what to do.
They sure didn't. And you did. I guess these Euclideans have too many fancy instruments and gadgets on everything. They forget how to do anything themselves.
But they've been so careful to preserve their natural sense of proportion about other things. Those rooms they keep noisy and the small farm they have here. All such things are maintained to keep them in tune with the normal way of doing things.
Even so, Mother, the failure of this rocket plane flight is an example of what the captain means.
The Euclideans do depend entirely too much on their instruments.
Yeah, that's right, Joan. The air isn't the best place in the world for that. Things happen pretty fast when you start falling out of the air. The man who flies only by instruments hasn't time to stop and remember how they used to do it in the old days.
Well, one thing is sure. If Tex hadn't known plenty about flying, we'd have hit that water so hard that the rocket plane would have gone straight through to the other side.
Jerry, that is not possible.
Well, maybe not, but we'd have hit plenty hard just the same.
Yeah, but we didn't, so let's stop worrying about it.
Yes, we may as well drop it. When Tex gets that "I don't want to be interviewed, it was only a routine flight" look on his face, there's nothing more to be had from him.
Well, one thing we learned, and it ought to help us a lot.
What was that?
Oh, there's plenty of things wrong with that rocket ship, and if G-47 keeps his promise to let Tex work on them, he'll have plenty of time to plan our escape from here before he's through.
Careful, Jerry.
You need have no further worry about being overheard.
No, don't be too sure, Joan. Remember how Thales talked to us through that radio speaker they installed for us? How easy it was for him to hear our conversation in the control room?
Golly, Whiskers, that's right.
We have no further need for caution in our conversation in these quarters. I am positive of that.
You seem sure of yourself, Joan, but I'm afraid the rest of us don't share your confidence in the matter.
Perhaps you have not learned all that I have had proven to me.
Well, giggling goldfish, don't act so blame mysterious about everything. What do you know that we don't?
You are impatient, Jerry.
Well, Joan, for once I think Jerry is justified. Our position here is not so enviable that we can afford any secrets from each other.
I am sorry, Captain. I will explain.
Please do, dear, at once.
As you know, I rode with the girl commander as she took that submarine to your rescue.
She did a swell job of it, too. Gee, Mrs. Gregory, if you could have seen the way that girl...
Jerry Hall, I am trying to explain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The commander and I had a splendid opportunity for conversation as we searched for you on the surface of the water. One of the things I learned is that the Euclideans believe our position to be so absolutely hopeless that they are removing all guards assigned to spy on our movements and discussions.
Well, that'll help a lot if you're sure of it.
I am quite sure of it, Captain. However, I think it wise to exercise some little caution when discussing matters of importance.
I agree with that.
Me too.
What else did you learn, Joan, dear?
The other item is particularly interesting and possibly important to us. The commander will be sent in here to share these quarters with us.
That girl commander?
Yes.
Why, I thought you said these Euclideans weren't going to bother to watch us so closely after
They
this.
are not.
Well, looks to me like they're putting a spy right under the dining room table.
Sure looks that way to me.
It certainly does.
It means nothing of the kind. The commander will be one of us, a prisoner, no longer a Euclidean.
Why, Joan, dear, do you realize what you're saying?
Of course, Mother.
But what's it all about?
Well, I got an idea from something she said to Joan and me. G-47 found out that she helped us escape from that island. I'll bet that's it.
That is the answer. G-47 knows that the commander helped us at the time we put the scientists to sleep in the laboratory with the captain's gas formula.
And she's being stripped of her high command in the Euclidean fleet?
She is.
Oh, golly whiskers. That makes one more for our side. And that girl knows a lot about this place.
She certainly does. This may be a help to us.
It seems incredible.
Hey, that's the word I was trying to remember.
The girl is so valuable to these Euclideans. She's the finest submarine commander they have. I wonder if it isn't some sort of a trick.
I know it is not. In talking with the commander, I could see that she is deeply interested in learning something of the ways of our world. I described to her some of the pleasant things I had seen during my brief visit to Los Angeles, and her face positively shone with excitement.
Excitement? That girl got excited?
She did.
Oh, that's almost too much.
Yes, that girl is the coolest person in an emergency that I've ever seen. And if she was excited about the prospects of becoming one of us, she must be in earnest about it.
She was very much in earnest. I hope you will not object, Mother, but I promised her that you would allow her to wear one of your dresses so that she might see how it would change her appearance.
Of course she may wear one of my dresses, or all of them for that matter. Hasn't she ever worn anything but that uniform of Euclidean cloth?
Nothing. The commander was born on Euclidia, and except for ocean voyages, has spent her entire 22 years here.
Gee whiz. 22 years in this place.
Seems pretty terrible to us, son, but I suppose you can get used to anything. Especially if you don't know what to do about changing your position.
Oh, I'm anxious to see her. When will she arrive?
I believe within a very short time.
Tex, will you help me?
Well, sure. Doing what, Pat?
Well, let's fix up the little room next to mine. The one you have your instruments in.
Yes, that's probably the room they figured on her using.
I presume it is, as that is the only vacant room in these quarters.
Come on, Tex. We'll put it in order.
This is certainly a surprising angle to run into.
Gee whiz, Joan. This is the weirdest thing I ever heard of. One of the Euclideans coming over to our side.
Jerry.
Huh?
Do you like the commander so very much?
Oh, sure. I told you she was a friend of ours.
I do not mean that. I mean, do you like her as well as you like me?
Oh, Joan, stop that silly stuff, will you? You women are all alike. Sure, I like her. She's a mighty pretty girl, and well, so are you.
Am I pretty, Jerry?
Yes, you're pretty, Jerry. Now, stop worrying about that girl. Why, she's 22 years old. I guess you won't have much time for me.
But would you like her to have time for you?
Joan, will you stop acting like a baby? Oh, I bet that's her now.
I suppose it is.
Come in.
It is I.
Hello, Commander. Come in and make yourself at home.
It is indeed unfortunate that I must disturb you in this manner.
We do not mind.
Well, I'll say we don't. We're tickled to death. Here, sit down.
Thank you. I suppose Joan has told you that I am to be one of you?
Joan? Did you call her Joan?
That is the name she will use in your world. I am now of that world.
Thank you, Commander.
Well, wait a minute then. You're not going to be called Commander anymore either. What's your real name?
I anticipated such a question, and I am ready and willing to enter your ways in all things. I have my record from the Euclidean personnel file. My worldly name is Elaine Raleigh.
Elaine. Gee, that's a pretty name.
Elaine is a nice name. Do you think you will like it?
I may as well like it.
Well, look, Commander, Elaine, that's swell. Now, there's one more thing I wish you'd do for us. Stop talking like a Euclidean and talk like we do.
Perhaps the Elaine is able to speak no other way.
To be sure I am.
Oh, boy. Did you hear that, Joan?
Naturally.
Well, it may be natural to you, but it sure surprised me.
The Euclideans have found it necessary, for numerous reasons, to develop a unique speech which will hide their true identities in time of need. But we are also constantly trained in using a manner of speech suitable to your world, so that we may not attract undue attention when moving in your world on secret missions.
Well, I sure like your voice a lot better this way.
It is indeed more pleasant.
Gee, Joan, you sound more like a Euclidean than the commander.
Perhaps I do. I have had no training in any other manner of speech.
Well, you just stick around Elaine and me, and we'll teach you how to talk.
Jerry.
One thing that I cannot understand, Jerry. Do many people in your world prattle on endlessly about meaningless things as you do?
Oh, I'm not so bad.
You speak far too much and say too little. Yet you seem sensible, and I have seen evidence of your intelligence.
In the world which Jerry knows, it is not considered necessary to wear a mask of science in order to display intelligence.
Oh, gee, thanks, Joan. You sure can make words get up and dance for you.
Well, I see that our latest edition has arrived. Welcome to the prisoner section, Commander.
I am grateful for the privilege, Captain.
Hey, Elaine, forget that commander stuff and talk to the captain like you did us.
It is not easy to change a habit so deeply ingrained.
Hello. Hey, that's a surprise.
It was also a surprise to us, Captain.
So, this Euclidean manner of speech is only disguise, as Joan tried to explain to us.
Precisely, Captain Bradford. G47 has felt that we should be able to go into the world without exciting any suspicion.
Well, I like this way of talking a whole lot better.
So do I, Jerry. We've heard about enough of that high-pitched, whining voice Euclideans affect.
Your natural manner of speaking is much more pleasant to the ear.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Commander, but we had used the extra room here as a storeroom, and I was clearing it out for you.
That is quite all right, Mrs. Gregory.
But, Tex, did you hear that?
Sure, I heard it, Pat. The commander has a perfectly good voice, which he's been hiding under that nasal whine of the Euclideans.
Well, that certainly is a relief. You're welcome to our party, Commander.
Thank you.
The commander will now be known by her worldly name, Elaine.
Elaine. What a pretty name. And you're very lovely, my dear, now that you've dropped your Euclidean manner.
Boy, I think she's keen.
Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I should like to see you in one of my dresses.
I would enjoy that.
Hold it. There's the dinner bell.
It is indeed the signal for the evening meal.
You are forgetting again.
It is stupid of me. I will not forget often.
Well, now, don't you worry about that, Elaine. Look, let's all gather around that table, which is in the habit of coming up through the floor just along about this time.
Oh, it's right on the dot. Here it comes.
I am happy to see that you have real food in here.
Did you have to eat that concentrated food?
Most of the time.
Oh, we've got a lot of things you'll like.
Well, now, look, let's talk about them after we eat. I'm hungry.
I am sure you will be happy with Mother and her friends, Elaine. They know and do so many lovely things in their world.
I am sure you are correct, Joan.
Oh, it is so pleasant to hear you call me Joan. I hope I never hear the name Cleostra again.
Well, Tex, our family has grown. Will you serve, Elaine?
Rogers in the 25th century.
And the shower of silver dollars from Popsicle Pete's Money Box.
Now, let's see now. Buck and Black Barney have finally managed to open the door of Barney's big underground machine. And there... But let's pick up our story exactly where we left off. Are you all set? Then here we go, 500 years into the future.
Willie!
Barney.
Captain, I know that I shouldn't leave that poor little tag all alone by himself down here under the ground. Willie!
He was in the control cabinet of your machine, wasn't he?
Sure he was. And now he's gone. Captain, what could have happened to him?
I don't know. Isn't there some other part of your groundhog where he might be? Sleeping quarters or something like that?
I looked at him and he ain't there. My Willie's gone, that's all. He's gone.
Now, Barney.
Somebody or something must have come in here and taken him. You hear me?
Yes, I hear you, but listen to me.
What do you mean, listen to you? My Willie's gone, ain't he?
Yes, I know, Barney, but no matter where he went, he couldn't have got very far in the few minutes since you left him here.
Just the same, he's gone. Now I don't know what I'm going to do.
Find him, of course. There's no way under the sun for him to have got very far away here underground.
Come on, Captain. Come on, we'll go out the same way I did when I disintegrated my way up to the cave, but me and you run into each other.
Okay, Barney, lead the way. Only watch your step.
Yeah, sure. Probably some big wild animal will come along and
take it easy, Barney. This is a pretty sharp climb, and we haven't got a neutron lifting units to help us along.
Who cares about anything like that? We got to find him. We got Willie.
Well, here's the big open cave, Barney.
Yeah.
You see anything of him? I'm afraid I don't. Although there's not very much light filtering in here from your control cabinet.
If he got into this big cave, Captain, he would have got lost. He probably didn't see me anywhere around, so he kept on going and going. There's no telling where he might be now.
Not necessarily, Barney.
What do you mean, not necessarily?
Well, this cave isn't as big as all that. And there's only one way he could have gone out of it.
Sure. He might have fell into some big hole or bottomless pit or something.
No, Barney, no. The disintegrated shaft that leads down to our mechanical mold. Come on.
You think maybe he could have went down there to where Lieutenant Woman, Dr. Yours had? The same way I done?
That's it. Now, here's the shaft.
Yeah.
Only be careful, because it drops almost straight down, and it's nearly...
Barney! Come here!
Did you hurt yourself, Mr. Barney?
Yeah. I guess No, sir. Willie. Are you all right?
Well, sure I am. Only wanted to jump all the way down that long shaft.
On account of I couldn't wait to... Well, what do you think? On account of I must have slipped a little bit because it was so steep, that's why.
Oh, hello, Captain Rogers.
Hello there, Willie. Well, I'm glad to see you safe and sound.
Oh, sure I am.
Well, I bet you ain't twice as glad as I am, Captain. Not even half as glad. No, sir.
Still don't see what all the fuss is about. Willie was just sitting here talking to us.
I just got tired of waiting, that's all. I wanted to make sure you were all right, Mr. Barney.
Did you?
Yes, sir. Then when I got out into sort of a cave up there, I saw a light coming up from that disintegrated away place. And I heard Lieutenant Wilmer talking with Dr. Ewer. So I thought the best thing to do was to come down here to them.
Oh, okay. As long as you was coming to Lieutenant Wilmer, it's all right.
The scamp. He heard us saying some nice things about him, too. But I guess they won't hurt him.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Well, you see, Lieutenant, the one thing I like about myself most is my being so modest. So I always tell Willie to be that way, too. Don't I, Willie?
Yes, sir.
Sure. And someday my little Willie's going to grow up to be the finest man that ever lived.
Just like you, Captain Rogers, and Dr. Yore and Lieutenant Woolman.
Well, the thing for us to do now is to get these 2 mechanical moles underway and headed for the surface. Suppose Barney and I go into the other machine.
Yes.
And leave you folks here to work the mole's non-recoil energy projector.
Well, you think we can exert enough power against the nose of Barney's machine to push it right on up and out of the hole it dug?
Yes, sir, now that the ground brake is off.
Well, it's worth trying. But how are we going to know if it works out all right?
Well, we can keep in touch with each other by radio.
Fine.
Come on then, Barney.
Yeah, yes, sir. You know, Captain, that machine you folks are using isn't as big as mine and all that sort of stuff. But yours looks real nice and compact.
Well, we traveled a good many miles in it without any trouble.
And did you find anything?
Oh, plenty. But we can talk about that later, Barney.
Yeah.
Let's get into your control cabin.
Yeah, you go right ahead and sit in the control seat.
All right. You'll have to tell me how to work these various levers, though.
Yes, sir. Only wait a second till I close this door.
That makes enough noise for half a dozen metal doors.
Yeah, good and loud, like it was real strong, huh?
Well, yes. But now, how about these controls? All I can see on the board here are 3 levers.
Well, this here one's the power control.
Uh-huh.
This one you use for steering from side to side.
Yeah?
And this one makes the nose of the groundhog go up and down.
And that's all there is to it?
That's all.
Okay. Wait a second now while I turn on the radio unit.
That I'll make a full report immediately.
Oh, what's that?
Splendid, Donald.
Oh, the Secretary to the President.
Of course, I've only given you a quick picture of all we've discovered, but I'm sure the President will want immediate action. I'm sure he will. In any event, you will have Captain Rogers report to him in person as soon as you reach the surface. Yes.
Huh?
Signing off.
Hey, wait a minute. Hello?
Hello, Buck?
Doctor?
I was just talking to Donald, the President's secretary.
So I heard.
I think it best that no time be lost in making official contact with the people we found living deep under the earth.
Oh, sure, but what was that about me reporting to the President?
I imagine it's just a case of giving him the complete story on this expedition.
Oh, well, now look, Doctor.
Yes?
It won't be necessary for you to make the mechanical mole push this machine of Barney's all the way back to the surface.
No?
No, sir. It'd be easy, but, well, sort of messy.
Well, what do you want to do then?
Well, push us upward a little bit, and we'll roll right into the big cave up here. Then we can turn and proceed under our own power.
Oh, fine. Well, are you all ready to move?
Anytime you are.
All right, then here we go. Everything all right?
Yeah, we're moving straight backward.
Good. I'll use a little more power here.
Okay. Whoa, Doctor, whoa.
Yes, Buck?
We've rolled into the open space, and it feels as though we've turned completely around.
I can see you have through our metallo glass window.
So all we need to do is head upward. You folks can follow us or make your own path, whichever's fastest.
Oh, following us up will be the fastest. We really got power in this here groundhog.
Well, we'll see. Incidentally, Buck.
Yes?
Donald is having a rocket roadster made ready for us to take us to the President.
Good. Well, let's get going.
Go ahead.
Hang on now, Barney. I'm going to turn on the power.
Sure.
Boy, this machine makes more noise than a boiler factory.
Yeah. Sounds powerful, don't it?
Very kind of you to meet us at the spaceport with this rocket roadster, Donald.
It was on the President's instructions, Dr. Ure, to ensure you're not being held up by the crowds that were there to greet you.
There was quite a crowd there, wasn't there?
Yes. Say, I can't get over how quiet this rocket roadster seems after that groundhog of Barney.
Was it as bad as all that, Buck?
Oh, you never heard anything like it. But Barney says it makes it sound powerful, and that's all he cares about.
Yeah, it seems almost strange to be up on the surface again, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of good. Much as I like the President, though, the kind of a meeting we're going to always embarrasses me.
Why, Buck?
Well, you know what it means. Wonderful expedition, great discoveries, marvelous scientific achievement.
Oh.
Why you should want Wilma and me around is more than I can see.
Right, Doctor. Any credit belongs entirely to you.
Well, if I may say so, I believe the President has a great deal more than just that on his mind.
Really? What?
Oh, he'll want to tell you himself. Now, there's his private landing platform just ahead of us. Hang on, please. We're landing. Now, right this way, please.
Shoot, Wilma.
Thanks.
Doctor?
Thank you. We'll enter his private office through that door over... Oh, Mr. President.
Welcome all of you.
Well, Mr. President.
And congratulations on what I believe is the greatest scientific accomplishment of our age.
Thank you, Mr. President.
There's so much to say in commendation for your amazing feat that I won't even attempt it. Suffice it to say that arrangements for establishing social and commercial relationships with the people of your underground city are being made now.
Splendid.
I only hope that we may have a hand in it, sir.
Rogers, you may not.
What?
Now, don't look so unhappy, my boy. I have another assignment for you. That is, if you're willing to take it.
Why, sure. Of course I am, sir.
And don't speak too quickly, Rogers, because if you do accept it, it will be the most dangerous assignment you've ever attempted.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm willing to bet that Buck takes that assignment, whatever it is. So don't miss the next episode.
Presenting the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon. Last week, Flash Gordon and Dr. Zarkov were attacked by Tall and Grum at the head of a band of rebellious magic men. But the rebels' plans were upset when Flash threw one of his paralyzing gas globes, and Grum was killed, but the others escaped. Dale Arden discovered that Azura, the wicked witch queen, had been rescued by the magic men. Then Dale went to warn Flash and Zarkov that Azura had been set free. She arrived at the apartment occupied by Flash and got in just as Tall and his officers returned with a dissolvable ray gun to lay siege to it. Flash, Dale, and Zarkov thought the enemy had withdrawn and were about to open the door and make a dash for their hawkmen when they were amazed to find the big metal door was melting from the dissolvable gun rays. Rather than face capture by Tall and the blue magic men, Flash and Dale and Zarkov decided to make the dangerous attempt to escape through the window and down a steep cliff. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the big full-page Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The full-page Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And now we continue the story. With one strong arm holding Dale close to him, the other gripping the stout vine, Flash slowly and carefully gets a foothold in the twisted tendrils and works his way down to the ground. Above him, Dr. Zarkov, keeping watch for the pursuers, lowers himself with one hand, a ray pistol clutched in the other.
Hang on to me, Dale. That's it. Don't be afraid.
I'm not, Flash, darling. I know I'm safe when I'm with you.
Your confidence gives me assurance, my darling. Zarkov?
Yes, Flash?
Any signs of them yet?
Not yet. They evidently haven't discovered our departure.
Oh, I hope they don't until we've safely reached the ground.
So do I. More than that, I hope our strength holds out that long. If it doesn't, and we fall...
Don't think about it, sweetheart. We shall die together if that happens.
My darling, it won't happen while I have a breath left in my body. Control of these two arms. Come, Zarkov. Let's hurry.
Meanwhile, back in the palace, Tall urges his men to speed the melting of the apartment door.
Hurry, men, hurry. Get that door melted through. You and you, stand ready with your sleek gas rifles. The moment the door melts through, let them have the gas.
Yes, General Tall.
Right, General Tall.
Well, what's delaying you? Why isn't that door melted through? Isn't that dissolvable ray gun working properly?
Yes, General, the gun is working all right, but that's a specially constructed door. It's very thick.
Thickness shouldn't make any difference to a dissolvable ray. Concentrate the rays on one spot.
Yes, General, at once. There. See that red glow appearing?
Yes.
That's where the rays are being centered.
Good. That's more like it. Now we shall get results. Why haven't they opened the door before this? They must see it melting.
They may have barricaded themselves in another room, General.
You may be right. But that is foolish. The dissolvable rays will go through the other doors like nothing at all.
We've cut through the door, General.
Shoot some gas to the hole. Quickly. Now, reach through and unbar the door, and we'll go in.
Nobody in here, General.
Try all the rooms.
Empty. Not here. Not here either.
They've escaped, General Tall.
How?
Through that window.
Through the window?
Look, by means of this vine.
The leaves are torn off as far down as we can see.
Now, cut the vine, and let them fall.
But that's impossible, General. The vine is so fastened to the cliff that cutting it here wouldn't cause it to fall and take the ex-prisoners with it.
Oh, curses. They've escaped, but not for long. Call out the guards.
Oh, guard!
Arouse the troops and set after them.
Troops orders!
We'll let them have their long climb and meet them at the bottom.
Hurry, Flash, hurry!
I am. I'm going as fast as I dare with safety.
What's the matter, Dr. Zarkov?
They discovered we're gone.
Oh.
I see lights flash at the top of the cliff.
Oh, what's going to happen to us?
Nothing, darling, nothing. We're almost at the bottom of the cliff now.
But suppose they cut the vine.
It won't do them any good, Dale.
Why not?
2-3 roots into the side of the cliff to make any difference.
Thank heaven. Are you all right, Flash?
I'm all right, Dale.
I can climb down the rest of the way, I think.
Just hang on to me. We'll make it all right. Zarkov?
Yes, lad?
Look down there. What do you suppose that light is? Campfire?
I hardly think they would have guards posted along here. It looks like a hut or herdsman's cottage.
I hope you're right. We're desperately in need of shelter.
How much farther, lad?
I think we could drop to the ground from here.
Then hang on to the vine. There, have you got it?
Yes.
I'll jump first.
Are you all right, Flash?
Yes, come. I'll catch you, Dale.
Here I come.
I have you safe in my arms.
Jump, Zarkov, coming. Well, lad, we escaped from the palace.
Yes, but we're not safe yet. As soon as they find us gone, they'll send out searching patrols.
Flash, there is a hut or herdsman's cottage over yonder. I just saw a door open, and there's a man standing in it against the light from inside.
You're right there, yes. Come, Zarkov. We'll ask shelter from yonder peasant. Hello! You in the cottage there.
Hello.
Can you give us room for the night? We've lost our way.
Who are you?
What difference does that make? We're tired and hungry and have lost our way.
Well, I can't help that. My hut is small, and there's only one bed.
You're a strong man like ourselves. Give up your bed to this girl. The three of us can stretch out on the floor.
No, I don't know who you are. You might murder me in my sleep.
Why should we bother to murder you? If we were murderers, we wouldn't pick a humble herdsman for a victim.
Oh, you're wasting time and words. You aren't coming into my cottage. I never let strangers in at night. Be on your way, or I'll send you away with my sword. Well, lad, I guess there is nothing else to do but start walking.
Is that so? We haven't finished with this fellow yet.
Come away, Flash. He may kill you.
He's bluffing. Friends, we simply must have a hideout from the sharp eyes of Azura's scout patrol. You know what will happen if that devil Tal catches us?
Oh, yes. Tal mustn't catch us.
Tal? Azura? You are fugitives from the palace?
Yes. Will you give us shelter now?
I will not. I don't want to be mixed up with you. I've never had trouble with the people of the palace, and I'm not going to start now.
Oh, yes, you are. Defend yourself.
Flash, be careful.
You will. Come on. Good work, lads. You got him.
Quickly, Zarkov. Help me drag him into the hut. Inside with you, Dale. Hurry. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, Flash, you could have ruled the Blue Magic Land if it hadn't been for me. I got you into all this mess.
Dale, darling, I'd rather have you than 6 kingdoms.
Listen. We got here just in time. There goes a patrol of magic men searching for us.
I knew there wasn't any time to be lost. Well, we're safe here for a while.
But when they start searching the cottages and hovels around here, we won't be.
That's true, Dale. We are in danger of discovery at any time.
Escape from this wild land is impossible, and we can't hope to conquer Azura without help. What will we do?
Oh, if I could only finish my newest invention.
What is it, Zarkov?
A machine for bending and destroying light so that... but what's the use of thinking about it? We have no materials here and no way to get them.
There is a way to get them.
How?
Are you dreaming, lad?
No. Give me a list of what you need. I'll raid one of Azura's signal stations.
Flash, with a list of the required machinery and scientific apparatus, mounts the peasant's horse and sets out on his perilous mission. At the signal station, he gets the supplies. At dawn, after a night which has been sleepless for Zarkov and Dale Arden, Flash returns, and the two men start to construct the light machine. In the meantime, back in the palace of Azura...
Well, have you found them?
No, General.
They've disappeared, leaving no trace.
They raid one of Azura's signal stations, take most of it away, and disappear, leaving no trace. Bah!
But the patrols are still searching, General.
Searching where? In their beds? In their stables?
No, all the roadways, General.
Roadways? You suppose the ex-prisoners are greater fools than they are? Do you think they would be sitting by the side of some roadway waiting for our patrols to pick them up? Search every house in the kingdom. They must be hiding somewhere.
Yes, General.
Hark, listen. Who is that?
The other ex-prisoner. The one who was guarding Queen Azura.
Get back to the door.
Yes, General. That one.
How? You are my prisoner. Take me to where you have hidden Azura.
Guard, arrest this man.
Put your hands up. Drop that sword.
So, trapped. But not for long. You forget Flash Gordon is king here? You'll suffer when he hears of this?
Perhaps. But no one knows how long it will be before he hears of it.
And why not? What do you mean? Well, what are you smiling at?
Oh, didn't you know? Your friends have left the palace quite hurriedly by a window.
Left the palace? Impossible. Why should they?
Rather than face the flames of a DeSalvo gun, which was melting the door of their apartment, they chose flight. How unfortunate they didn't wait for you.
They went away without me?
Yes.
Well, what are you going to do with me?
They set you to guard Queen Azura, didn't they?
Yes.
You were searching for her when you walked in here. Am I right?
Yes.
Since you have been so closely allied with the person of our queen, I shall see to it that you still are.
You will?
But this time, you will be her slave instead of her guard.
What?
Unfortunately, she hasn't yet recovered from the effects of the lithium drug. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand, Carl.
Well, is that all you have to say?
No. Thank you for the opportunity to serve Queen Azura.
After 2 days and nights of feverish work, Flash and Zarkov assembled the light machine.
Put this electrode over there, lad. I'll set up this one.
What a maze of dynamos and wires and tubes. What is it supposed to do, Dr. Zarkov?
You will see. As soon as we get it assembled, you will see what it will do.
Do you think it will work here?
It should work, unless we have made some mistake in putting it together. Flash, help me adjust this dynamo.
You certainly are a master of suspense, Doctor. Here we've been working on this thing for 2 days and nights, and Dale and I don't know any more about it than we did when you first mentioned building it.
Well, is it not the best way? If you do not know what it's supposed to do, then you won't be so disappointed if it does not work. The dynamo is all right.
When are you going to try the whole machine, Dr. Zarkov?
Just as soon as we get it hooked up, Dale. Flash, help me set up this platform.
I'm dying of curiosity. What is this thing for, anyway?
Be patient, my child. Be patient. This is the machine which will help us conquer Azura.
Is it some sort of long-distance ray machine?
I don't think it can be, Flash. Don't you remember what Dr. Zarkov said about it being able to bend and destroy light?
That is right, Dale. You have a good memory. That's what I said.
Oh, yes, now I remember. But that's all you said, Dr. Zarkov. The machine is finished now. Can't you tell us about it?
I shall do better than that. I shall show you what it does. Flash, please stand on that platform.
Here?
That's right. Now, Dale, watch Flash. Keep your eyes on him. If you can.
Why, he's disappearing.
Yes.
Only his shadow remains. Flash, are you all right?
Of course. I'm perfectly all right, Dale.
You see, Flash is invisible. No one can fight what they cannot see. So Flash will become the avenging shadow.
Will Flash Gordon, made invisible by Dr. Zarkov's latest invention, conquer the blue magic land as the avenging shadow? Be sure to see these amazing adventures, which are so graphically portrayed in full-color action pictures in the Comic Weekly. Don't miss the Comic Weekly next Sunday. The big full-page picture supplement distributed each Sunday with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. In addition to Flash Gordon, you will find many other favorite characters of fun and adventure waiting to entertain you. And don't forget our date at the same time next week for the next chapter in the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon.
the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Using Jimmy Olsen as bait, Henry Miller, in whose blood flows the deadly kryptonite which makes him an atom man, lured Superman to a lonely beach and defeated him in a titanic battle. Drunk with his power, Miller killed Der Teufel, the Nazi scientist who had transformed him into a human atomic monster, and then buried Superman in a deep hole in the sand. Then he left for Metropolis, intending to destroy that great city as his first step in conquering the world. But shortly before sunset, as Superman lay buried beneath the sand, two duck hunters, Joe Nelson and Mart Andrews, came up the beach. Suddenly, Nelson's hunting dog, a water spaniel, began to bark and dig furiously, spoiling a perfect shot for the two hunters. Annoyed, Nelson hurried to where the animal had already clawed out a sizable hole.
You bet! Come out of that hole! Come out, I say!
What have we found down there?
Dead fish or a sand crab or something. You hear me, Biff? Come out of there! All right, you won't. I'll haul you out. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? A pedigreed hunting dog digging for dead fish. Come on out.
He sure doesn't want to come out of there.
I don't know what's come over him. Biff, cut it out. Stop that noise. How do you expect any ducks to show up with you barking your fool head off?
Here, look at him. He wants to dig some more.
I'll dig him. Biff, stop it. Stop it, I said.
What the? Hey, Joe, wait.
Huh? What's the matter?
Come here.
What is it?
Look down there, where the dog was digging.
Shut up, Biff. Where, Mart?
At the bottom of the hole, sticking out of the sand. You see?
Oh, smoked. Looks like a man's foot.
That's what it is. Somebody's buried down there.
Jupiter. Well, that's why Biff... Come on, Mart. We got to see about this. Help me get the sand off. Get away from here, Biff. Get away, I said. Go on.
I can't understand how anybody'd be buried here on the beach.
That tide might have washed him up.
Yeah, maybe, but... I don't like this, Joe.
I don't either.
Hey, he's dead as a doornail, Joe.
What'd you expect, buried under the sand? Poor guy. Wonder who he is.
Beachcomber, maybe. Say, that's funny. His clothes are ripped to pieces. You can't even make out what they are, but I don't see any marks on him.
I don't either. Well, that is funny.
What do you suppose happened to him?
Search me. He wasn't drowned, you can tell that. You know, come to think of it, he must have been struck by that lightning.
Lightning?
Sure, the lightning storm that knocked down all those trees and tore up the beach. Big bolt must have hit him, dug a hole in the beach, and buried him. Look at his clothes, or what's left of them. See how charred they are?
If it was lightning that burned and tore his clothes up that way, he'd be burned too.
Oh, that's right. Well, no use worrying about...
Hey, what was that?
Oh, was what?
I heard a low moan. Didn't you hear it?
No. Oh, maybe you heard Biff up the beach.
Biff's way up the beach. There it is again. Holy smoke, Joe. This fellow's alive.
How could he be buried under the sand?
Wait a minute. See if I can hear his heart.
Well, you felt his heart before.
I just put my hand over it. I was sure he was dead. Quiet now.
Hear anything?
Not yet. Wait. Yeah. It's beating all right.
It is?
Yeah. I can hardly hear it, but it's beating all right. We've got to get him to a doctor fast. Take his legs, Joe.
Okay. Oh, no. No, wait. We better not move him. He might be hurt inside. Now, I'll tell you what. I'll drive to Sam Tyler's and call the hospital at Linwood. Send out an ambulance.
But his heart's weak. He may go any minute.
Getting the ambulance here will be better than us carrying him to the car and then giving him a bumpy ride. The ambulance can come in on the beach road. I'll make it as fast as I can, Mark. Come on. Leaving his hunting companion with the still figure of Superman, Joe Nelson rushes away to his car. Within an hour, an ambulance roars up the beach road, and two attendants bearing a stretcher hurry across the dark sands. A short time later, in a room in the Linwood Hospital, Superman lies in a bed, his eyes closed, scarcely seeming to breathe. Leaving an intern and nurses with him, Dr. Bruce, chief of staff, steps into the corridor where Sheriff Simpson awaits him.
How is he, Doc?
Hello, Sheriff. Still in a coma.
What are his chances?
Frankly, not too good. Our only hope is that he'll respond to a blood transfusion. We're getting him ready now. By the way, his people ought to be notified. You able to find any identification in his clothes?
Call them clothes? We're no more than burn-up rags. All the ashes if you touch them. If you had any papers on them, they're ashes, too.
Hey, Doc, you figure he was struck by lightning?
I never heard of a man struck by lightning who didn't show a mark of it on his body.
Me neither. His clothes all ripped to pieces and burned. How could that happen without there being a mark on him?
I don't know, Sheriff. This is a very puzzling case.
You said it. Sure hope you can pull the poor fellow through, Doc. Chances are he's the one young Olson saw on the beach with them two Nazis.
Nazis? What Nazis?
Ain't in the papers yet, but one of them was Teufel, a Nazi scientist. He was killed by lightning, no doubt about that. The other one, Henry Miller, got away. This fellow might be able to tell us what Teufel and Miller were up to, where Miller went.
Well, I'll certainly do all I can, Sheriff, but...
Dr. Bruce.
Ready for me, Snyder?
No, sir. Please come here, sir. Something happened. I can't understand it.
What's the trouble?
His skin, I can't puncture it.
What?
Yes, sir. I broke 2 needles. His skin is impenetrable.
What's that mean, Doc?
I'll have to see. You can come in, Sheriff.
I remember reading of a case of a man struck by lightning.
Never mind, Snyder. Get an injection needle, please.
Yes, sir.
Looks dead to me, Doc.
He's still alive.
Here you are, sir.
Thanks. Step back, please, Sheriff. Now, swab his arm, Snyder.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that'll do. Now, let's see about this. Good heavens.
Needle broke.
You see, sir, it's amazing, but I once read about...
Never mind about your reading, Snyder. Get me a scalpel.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Doc.
Step back, please, Sheriff.
Okay, I just wanted to know...
Here you are, sir.
Now, let me see. Great heavens, you're right, Snyder. This man's skin is impenetrable.
I told you, sir. The lightning must have petrified his skin. I read of a case like that.
So have I, but I never believed it.
What goes on, Doc?
Well, something occurred, perhaps the lightning, as Snyder suggests, which has made this man's skin impenetrable. That means, unfortunately...
Yeah? What does it mean?
It means we can't give him blood plasma. We can't do anything for this poor chap now. He's doomed. Superman doomed. And strangely enough, by one of his own superhuman powers. And while he lies helpless, given up for lost, his deadly foe, the Atom Man, has arrived in Metropolis. We'll return in a moment for the startling climax of today's episode. But right now, here's a word from your announcer.
You know, gang, these new comic buttons that Kellogg's Pep is putting out are so easy to get that, well, your collection must really be growing. For instance, have you got the Superman button yet? Boy, doesn't he look real with his bright red cape and Superman insignia? And how about Uncle Walt from Gasoline Alley? He has that cowlick, you know, the tuft of hair that's always sticking up straight. And Moon Mullins and his big black cigar. And Harold Teen with his bow tie. Every single one of these 18 comic strip characters looks just as real as in the funny papers. Full comic strip colors, too. Gee, it's fun collecting all 18 different buttons, trading duplicates with your friends, and wearing all your buttons pinned on your jacket or dress or cap. And these buttons are easy to get. Sure, you don't send in a single penny, not even a box top. Fact is, you can't buy these bright-colored buttons anywhere. You just ask Mom to get plenty of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Then, look inside the package and see which prize you find. One of these sharp-looking new comic buttons, or a military insignia, or a warplane button. It's your prize from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now back to the adventures of Superman.
As Superman was brought to the Linwood Hospital, Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man who had defeated and left him for dead, arrived in Metropolis. Now, just before 11 o'clock at night, his hat pulled low over his face and his coat collar muffling his chin, he is riding an express elevator to the observation tower of the Metropolis Bank Building, the highest point in the city, 105 lofty stories above the street. Except for the Atom Man and the uniformed operator, the elevator is empty.
You won't get much for your 50 cents tonight, mister. Tower closes in 5 minutes at 11 o'clock.
5 minutes will be enough for my purposes.
You can't really get the view in that short time, from all sides of the tower, that is. Besides, it's pretty cloudy tonight.
I don't mind clouds.
Okay, mister, it's up to you. Here we are. Looks like you got the whole place to yourself.
That's okay. I won't be lonesome.
I'll be up for you in 5 minutes when the tower closes.
Fine. That's all the time I'll need.
I don't get it, but okay.
Walking out the deserted observation tower, 105 stories above the streets, Henry Miller casts a quick look around him, makes certain he is alone, then reaches into his pocket and withdraws his meshed metal gloves and electronic throat converter. Quickly, he straps the converter to his throat, tight against his jugular vein, then pulls on his metal gloves. Now he is the deadly Atom Man. He stops at the chest-high brick wall which surrounds the tower, peering down through the cloudy night at the broken pattern of lights and darkness below him, where the citizens of Metropolis work and sleep peacefully, unaware of the destruction threatening them.
First Metropolis, then the rest of the world. I will leave only this building standing. The rest I will turn to less than dust.
For a moment longer, the Atom Man looks down on the great city beneath him. Then his right hand moves to the switch on the converter at his throat, the switch that will send the impulse to the kryptonite atoms in his blood and force them surging in a terrible stream of atomic power through his metal-gloved fingers. What can save Metropolis now? Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, Lois Lane, and all the other innocent millions. Superman lies scarcely breathing in a hospital 50 miles away. Never was a moment more tense. So don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, fellows and girls. Something happens. Something you can't possibly guess. Tune in, same time, same station, for a thrill a minute in the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications.
Fed up with the everyday grind? Tired out from the summer heat? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. You are deep in a fabulous mountain cavern, surrounded by a horde of menacing natives from a lost civilization, held at the mercy of the most beautiful woman in the world, the terrible queen called She. Tonight, we escape to uncharted Africa and to an incredible adventure, as H. Rider Haggard described it in his fantastic story, She.
In those days, I was a professor of archaeology at Oxford. And though this may account for my being able to understand some of those strange events which occurred later, it was in no respect a reason for my becoming involved in them. No, the real reason was unbelievably simple. I walked through the caves of the dead in the terrible and ancient city of Kor, crossed the awful abyss, and looked upon the flame of life, only because I was one of the ugliest men in England. Because of my appearance, I'd made few acquaintances and only two close friends. Roger Vinci first, and following his death, his son, Leo, whom he left behind. And it was that friendship which brought Leo Vinci to my chambers off the quadrangle. Late in the evening of the day he became 25 years old.
Today was the first I knew of it, Holly, when the attorneys called me in.
Yes?
They said Father instructed them the week before he died to give me the letter and this little bronze chest on my 25th birthday.
Strange. I mean, the chest. Designed on the lid, show Egyptian influence. It must be very old.
Well, according to Father's letter, it contains something over 2,000 years old.
Really?
Must have considered it rather important. He's closed the cover with a lead seal.
Yes, so I see.
At any rate, Holly, the letter doesn't tell us much. Suppose we see what's inside.
All right. I have a geology hammer here somewhere, my boy. Oh, here we are. A chisel. Now, you hold it in place on the table here.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Huh?
Yes, pulling loose.
Yes. I did it.
Well? Here goes.
What the devil is that?
Why, it's a clay tile, an old Egyptian writing tablet. Yes, it's the kind used about the time of Nectanebes, around 340 B.C.
But the writing on it, it's not Egyptian. It's Greek.
Yes, and parts of it are broken away. Oh, it'll take some time to translate this, Leo.
Well, Father apparently did it, Holly. According to this paper. Listen, here's a translation.
Read it.
I am Anates, wife of Callicrates, say this to you, my son. Forced to escape the wrath of the great Nectanebes.
I thought so.
Your father and I fled southward across the waters and wandered for twice 12 moons upon the coast of Libya.
That's the old name for Africa, you know.
That faces the rising sun. And there by the mouth of a river where stands facing the sea a great mountain carved like the head of an Ethiopian.
What is it?
Nothing, Holly. Huh? It goes on. Following the river, we soon fell among... There's a row of asterisks.
That must be one of the places where the tile's broken. Go on, my boy.
To a hollow mountain where a great city once stood, and to the terrible caves of which no man had seen the end, and to she who must be obeyed.
She who must be... What's wrong, Leo?
I don't know, Holly. There's something familiar about that name, but I've never heard it before. Strange.
Well, come on, get on with it.
She who must be obeyed, who did lead us by awesome ways to the place where the great pit is, whose voice is like thunder. And she did show to us the rolling pillar of light, and did stand in the flames. And she spake unto and there's a large fragment missing here.
Oh, very sick.
There isn't very much more. Picks up, carried far away on the ships where I gave birth to thee, and came hither to Athens at last.
Huh?
So I say to thee, by these things which I have told, seek out this place. Nor stay thy will until thou hast the secret of life for thyself. Sit then on the throne with the Pharaoh. And that's all, Holly. Now, what's it all about?
Leo, if your father knew, he kept it to himself. I don't know. It's all very strange.
Yes. Oh. Well, we'll know as soon as we reach the place.
I was hoping you'd say that. If you decided not to, I think I should have had a try at finding it alone.
Oh, I can't do anything else, Holly. It's more than curiosity. It's almost a compulsion. There's such a familiar feeling about all this. Even that mountain, Holly, shaped like the head of an Ethiopian.
Yes, what about it?
Well, off and on, ever since I was a kid, I've dreamed about a mountain like that. But why, Holly? Why should I?
That was the beginning. And some 3 months later, we drifted down the east coast of Africa, south of Zanzibar, searching the miles of jungle shores for the mountain carved like a head. There were 4 of us in the tiny sailing dhow. Leo and I, of course, along with Abdullah, the Arab boatman we'd hired in Aden, and finally a solid North countryman named Job, my servant for many years. We caught no sight of our landmarkers yet, but a native had told us of seeing it once years before, somewhere to the south. So our hopes held high, and we were confident luck was with us. And so it was, until one evening, just at dark.
That's a pretty stiff wind, Holly.
Yes.
You think Abdullah knows what he's doing?
We're rather close inshore, all right, Leo. I doubt if there's any danger. Let the squall hit.
Hey, by gauzy, we're strangers here in an heathen land and all. Anything could happen.
It could, Joe, but let's assume that it won't. Huh? How's the dory making out back there?
Oh, trailing along all right behind us. Be in a bad spot if we lost it. We have guns, food, equipment, and everything in it.
Yes, I know, Joe. Leo, perhaps we shouldn't have packed the stuff that way, Leo. Should have kept it on board without...
No, Holly. We want to be ready to shove off up the river as soon as we sight that head. It would be a tough job loading that boat at sea.
We may not have had to, Leo. We've certainly found no reason to so far.
But we will. I've dreamed of it.
Hey, naturally, look.
It's the wind, Holly. Driving the water ahead of it. Abdullah! Stay under that tiller and head her into it.
I'll give him a hand, Holly.
Right.
Here, we've got a chance here.
Hold on to the mast, Joe.
We can all be down.
The great wave plunged over us, tore away the dory, swamped the dhow beneath our feet, and hurled us headlong into the foaming sea. Half smothered, fighting to stay afloat, borne shoreward by the drive of the tempest, we were tossed at last, one by one, up onto the rain-swept beach. The calm dawn found us huddled together on the sand at the fringe of a dark and forbidding jungle. At the south lay the mouth of a small river, and to the north, the beach ended at the slope of a rocky headland. Leo and Job went to look at the wrecked dory, lying at the water's edge 100 yards away, while I searched the shoreline for some sign of our boatman. I found none, and we never saw Abdullah again.
Oh, Holly. Finally, any trace of him, Holly?
No sign, Leo. Said he's gone for good.
Oh, too bad.
What saves the dory in, Job?
Wrecked. Not a chance of fixing it, but the equipment seems to be all right, sir.
Oh, good. It's all there,
Yes, most of it. The lashings held and the waterproof case is still up very well. Only trouble is we're afoot.
Yes, we're going to have a lot of trouble following the coastline.
We won't follow any coastline, Holly.
What?
We're going up that river. Take a look at that headland there to the north.
Yes?
It shows up better from the wreck, Holly, but with the sun coming up now, you can see it from here, too.
Why, Gum, it's shaped like a human head.
That's it. That's the landmark. Right, Holly. And that's the river Callicratius followed with his wife, the same one we're going to follow.
Oh, but Leo, with the boat gone, we shall have to break trail through that jungle and follow that riverbank.
Yes, we'd better get started.
Look, gentlemen, why can't we just stay here and try to signal some ship?
No, there's not much chance of it, Joe. They stay pretty clear of this coast. But anyway, this is what we've been looking for.
I don't really know what we are looking for, Leo. It's been more than 2,000 years since Callicratius went up that river. And things must have changed a great deal by now.
Holly, that carved head up there in the mountain. It looks exactly the way it always did when I dreamed about it.
It's incredible.
I've got a strange feeling that whatever Callicratius and his wife found back there in the jungle will still be waiting there today.
For 5 hot, steaming days, we pushed inland through the jungle, following the banks of the muddy river. Mile by mile, the creeping undergrowth became more dense. The river shallowed and became sluggish, and the swamplands began to stretch out from the low banks. Foul pools and stagnant lagoons full of soft black mud covered over with a green scum made every step a hazard. Crocodiles slid away at our approach, and bright-colored snakes glided out from underfoot. Mile after mile, we forced our way through those evil swamps, each mile more difficult. And finally came the morning of the 6th day.
Oh, I don't know, Holly. If it gets any worse, we'll never make it.
Excuse me butting in, gentlemen, but
yes, sir.
I say we should turn back.
Oh, no, Joe. We've spent 5 days getting this far. This aimed to waste it.
It's just the way I feel. We'll keep on as long as we can. Oh, but Leo. Oh, I know. I stumbled over something in the mire. Here, take a look at it. It's a rock. Look.
Yes. It's a square stone. It's been hand-cut. There's another. It's a section of an old wall of some sort, of a dike.
That's it, Holly. A long time ago, the river was held between stone dikes along here. Like a sort of canal.
Possible. That might account for the swampland. The dikes gradually fell to pieces. The river spread out through the jungle.
Of course. And, Holly, there could be only one reason for building them. So that boats or barges could come in from the ocean to some kind of a city.
A city, gentlemen. Why don't we turn back while we can?
City. It had to be a long time ago. Centuries ago,
It could still be there, Holly. This place has never been explored. Nobody would ever try to come through these swamps.
It may include us if we keep them. Joe, what's the matter with you?
He must be... Oh, look.
Natives. Where the devil did they come from?
I don't know. Ooh, strange-looking brute. Look at those clothes they're wearing.
Yes. I've never seen any quite like them. Exception.
Hey, Gop. Bakani Viko.
You recognize the dialect?
No, it's a little like Arabic. I might try that.
Sabul al-Hayya. Kaifa?
Hey, Gop. Ni Bokan ni Rex.
I've never heard anything like it before.
They seem to want us to come along with them, Holly.
Yes.
You think we'd better chance it?
Well, they outnumber us 30 to 1, Leo.
Yes, and they're all carrying those stabbing knives. Well...
Taka Zedango.
Hang on to your guns. They don't seem to know what they're for. Let's go.
strange escort moved rapidly ahead, twisting and turning as they followed some well-remembered trail of their own. We rested during the night on a hummock of dry ground and then struck out again at dawn. It was late afternoon when we left the swamp and climbed up a long slope to the foot of the rock-walled mountain. Reaching its base, we entered the mouth of a great cavern, and a short way inside, we led into a small side chamber, carved from the living rock and lighted by a reed wick floating in a jug of oil. And then the strange natives went away and left us, and we sat about on the floor, trying to plan some course of action.
Oh, how long do you suppose we've been here, Holly?
Close to 2 hours, I'd say. Yeah. It's dark outside by now.
Holly, do you have any idea what race they belong to? They're not like any other natives in this part of Africa.
Oh, I've seen people much like them in some of the villages in southern Egypt, Leo. But I don't know any more about it than that.
Wear those odd tunics, too. Cotton or linen, I suppose. Those bronze headbands. Must have been out of contact with the rest of the world for centuries.
Heathens, that's what they are, and up to no good so far as we're concerned. That's what
You
I
may be right,
think.
Joe, but I still want to find out about the other things Eminati wrote on the tile. Stiff corn, pillar of fire, she who must be obeyed.
We found the caves, at least. Though I can't see anything so terrible about them.
Perhaps we haven't seen everything the case.
Ye bohop. Oh. Denny bahop. Our little chum. Denny bahop.
He seems to want us to follow it. Well, hang on to your gun.
Right you are. Stick close together. Don't let them separate us. All right, Joe? Come, let's go.
Our strange guide led us along the twisting, branching passageways, lighting our way with a flaming torch that threw weird shadows on the walls of solid rock. Now and then we passed side chambers lined with long rows of stone slabs. And then I saw that each slab held the sheeted figure of a human body. And I realized these caves were one vast crypt filled with the mummified bodies of some vanished race. Gradually, as we moved on, a most remarkable sound began to grow louder. Made up of the guttural voices of a crowd, the throbbing of drums, and the moan of some strange musical instrument. Suddenly the narrow passage opened out into a great hollowed cavern where natives danced and postured in the eerie glare from 100 huge torches placed about the walls. I stared in amazement. For the torches were flaming mummies tied upright to the posts. And the guide had lighted our way through the passages with a human arm.
Nebok. Orgje. I think he means for us to walk towards that platform in the center.
Yes. The pit of coals burning in the top of it.
Nebok. Come on. Watch it, Holly. I don't like the looks of this.
All right. Keep your gun handy, Leo. Stay right with us, Joe.
They look anything but friendly.
If anything starts, try to get on the platform. They've got no weapons except those staring knives, remember.
Here we are. Now what?
The barn is that. It's quite some fire they've got built up. Can't understand what they need to do.
Joe, look out, Holly, they're still going. Devil, back against the wall, Leo. Watch it, here they come. All right, you.
Step, Joe, but not a chance.
What are you left? Holly, let's try for the place. Old man in a long white robe.
Hold your gun ready, Leo. We'll see what happens.
Here, Andy. Andy, boat.
Well, let's scared to death of him, whoever he is.
Wait, he's coming our way.
I presume you speak English, gentlemen?
Yes, but you do.
Occasionally, natives from the south have come through the swamps, and we have captured them. I have learned many of the languages of the outside world. I am Bilali.
Leo Vinci, and this is Mr. Holly.
I am most sorrowful for the death of your companion.
Oh, yes. Poor Joe.
My children have no excuse. They know the law. From now on, you will be allowed to complete freedom. No white man is ever to be eaten.
Eaten?
That is what would have been done to you. But rest assured, her law is just, and their punishment will be swift.
Whose law?
That of she who must be obeyed.
Holly, it, Holly. We're still on the right trail.
She has demanded your presence. I have come to take you to the place where she is.
Tell me, Bitali, who or what is this she who must be obeyed? A goddess? A queen? A white woman?
I could not say, my son. I have never seen she. Come along.
Again through those tortuous passages, two of us now, with kindly old Bilali leading the way, until they left us alone at last in a large chamber hung with brilliant-colored silk, fitted with soft divans, and lighted by crystal lamps. We stood there several minutes, not speaking, wondering, when suddenly the curtains across the doorway parted, and a most amazing figure stood before us. It was swathed in folds of filmy white draperies, with soft, gauzy veils covering even face and hands.
I bid you welcome to the city of Kor, Callicrates and friend of Callicrates.
I'm not Callicrates. I'm Leo Vinci, and this is my friend, Mr. Holly.
Leo Vinci. Vengeance. No matter, you will understand.
Are you...
I am she.
You must forgive us if we find it difficult to understand it. What is all this? These caves, the natives. What is Kor?
Kor is a great city that rose up and then died many thousand years ago. These are the caves of Kor. The city itself stands farther on, in a huge crater at the heart of the mountain.
Are you a descendant of Kor?
I came from another place, far away, and Kor was dead long before I found it. The natives know me as a fearsome figure in white, and they obey me.
They've never seen you?
No, Holly. Not one of them has ever seen behind these veils.
Amazing to think that Callicrates must have been here in this same place over 2,000 years ago.
2,287 years ago. Callicrates died in this very chamber.
You speak as though you saw it happen.
I did see it happen. I killed him.
But you couldn't. That was over 2,000 years ago.
Yes. And at that time, I had been here in Kor for more than 500 years.
Impossible.
How do you know? You haven't seen me.
But then you claim to be immortal.
Yes. As he could have been had he stepped with me into the flames of life. As you can be my Callicrates, if you so choose.
I hope you'll forgive me, but I can't believe anything so fantastic.
Is it proof you need? Proof that I once did an evil act in anger and paid for it by waiting alone through all these centuries. Proof that my waiting is ended now? Then look upon it behind this curtain.
A mummy. A mummy like those out in the caves.
But look at the face.
Leo, it's you. That's you lying there.
That is the body of Callicrates, whom I loved, and whom I killed in anger when he refused to leave her and stay with me to become immortal. His wife Aminates fled across the mountains and later gave birth to his son, your ancestor.
Then, Leo, that clay tile has been handed down in your family for over 20 centuries.
I have paid for my sin, and I have waited, knowing that someday my Callicrates would be born to me again, would come back to Kor and find me.
It was as though I had to. I dreamed of that carved mountain before I'd ever seen it. And your name, she who must be obeyed. It struck some chord in my memory the first time I heard it.
It is your heart that must be obeyed now, my beloved. The decision is yours whether to leave me once again now that you have found me, or to walk with me into the pillar of life, to love me and to become immortal.
Yes. I feel somehow that this is the ending of something I've been moving toward all my life. Leo. But it isn't possible. Immortality. Then how can you love someone you've never seen?
Then you shall see, my beloved. I've worn these veils for you, and for you I... Look.
Oh.
slid off from her shoulders, and she stood revealed before us, the most beautiful woman the world has ever seen.
Will you leave me now, my Callicrates, or come with me to the flame of life?
I'll go with you anywhere. Anywhere.
We talked the night away in the chamber, Leo and I fascinated by every word that fell from those lovely lips. She talked of the hidden knowledge of ancient lands, sang softly of her thoughts in rhyme, and spoke once again the words of long-dead poets, forgotten by the world. She made us believe in her own immortality and in ours to come. And before dawn, with Holly with us, we followed her madly and joyously through the dim and dusty passage that led to the flame of life. We came to a great abyss with a narrow ledge crossing over it like a rainbow rock. There Bilali waited, and we three went on alone. At the sight of the awful depths beneath us, Leo and I shuddered in spite of ourselves and moved carefully, step by step. She never hesitated, but swayed along gaily before us like a feather borne on a breeze. Finally, we stood in a vast circular chamber, a great bubble in the earth's crust, whose walls were shining black basalt.
Holly, I see there by the wall. It looks like the body of a man.
An old philosopher, my beloved, who came here many centuries ago. He sat and watched the flame and could not decide whether he should become immortal. Finally, he died.
And you? Have you never regretted becoming immortal?
I could not have waited for Callicrates, Holly, had I not been immortal. But you, Leo, perhaps you have doubts.
Immortality will not even be long enough with you. Where is the flame?
Listen. Even now it approaches. It advances and then retreats, a never-ending cycle of life. It has moved along its path through this cavern since the beginning of time.
Holly, look!
Do not fear it, beloved. See, this time I will step into the flame alone. And when it comes again, you may join me.
Like the fire of the sun and the dust of 1,000,000 diamonds.
As the great and terrible pillar of flame approached, she threw off her veil and opened her arms to it, and the eternal fire flowed over her. It passed and left her there, standing with her head bowed.
Are you all right? It didn't harm you?
No, my beloved. Can one find harm in the flame that created life itself? Do you believe that...
What's wrong? Tell me what's wrong.
The flame was different somehow. Now that Callicrates has returned, the curse of everlasting life is lifted.
Leo, she's aging, growing old.
Oh, no. I do not... If I go, search for me. Search.
Merciful heaven.
Oh, no. No!
Even as Leo's hands reached out to touch her, they closed on a dry heap of soft, gray dust. I knew now that neither of us would step into the flame, and I knew we would spend our lives searching through the world for she. I seemed to hear in my mind once again words she had spoken in those glorious hours the night before. I knew that Leo was hearing them too, and that neither of us, so long as we lived, could ever forget that lovely voice.
Nay, not in Kor, but in whatever spot, in town or field, or by the insatiate sea, men brood on buried love or unforgot, or break themselves on some divine decree, or would o'erleap the limits of their lot. There, in the tombs and deathless, dwelleth she.
Escape, produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, tonight brought you She by H. Rider Haggard, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with editorial supervision by John Dunkel. Featured in tonight's cast were Barry Kroger, Larry Dobkin, Kay Brinker, Ben Wright, and Wilms Herbert. Special music by Ivan Ditmars.
Next week, you are clinging precariously to a diving, pitching longboat, lashed by mountainous seas in the center of a hurricane. And at the helm, driving you on, is a man bent on revenge and willing to kill for it.
Next week, we escape with F.R. Buckley's exciting story, Habit. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Fed up with the everyday grind? Tired out from the summer heat? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are clinging precariously to a diving, pitching longboat, lashed by mountainous seas in the middle of a hurricane. And at the helm, driving you on, is a man bent on revenge and willing to kill for it.
Tonight, we escape to the open sea with an ancient tramp steamer and its fighting captain, as F.R. Buckley told it in his ironic story, Habit.
Very well. The court has no more questions. Step down, please.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor.
Well, Captain Weatherfield, you've just heard the complaining witness. Have you anything to say in your own defense?
Yeah. Hit the man about a bit. No doubt of that, Your Honor. In fact, with half chance, I'd have pounded his blasted head off.
Quiet! We'll have order in the court. Then you admit the charges, Captain Weatherfield.
That I hit him? Yeah. But I had extenuating circumstances, Your Honor.
I see. And what were they?
He laughed at my ship. At the Wakeling, Your Honor. As fine a freighter as ever steamed out of here on the Liverpool run.
I don't quite see.
He stood there on the wharf. Squint-eyed son of a landlubbered lawyer. He said my ship looked like an old woman, with her dress on backwards, her hair not combed. That's when I flattened him out.
Yes, and I still say that's what she looks like.
Order! Why, you confounded little pipsqueak, I'll break your parts.
Sit him down, Captain Weatherfield. Grab him, bailiff.
Let go of me, confounded, let go of me. Let go of me, I say.
Order in the court. Captain Weatherfield. Captain Weatherfield, this court finds you guilty of assault and battery as charged, and sentences you to 7 days in the New Bristol City Jail. All right, bailiff. Lock him up.
And that's the way it started, with the captain getting 7 days in the New Bristol jail. Yeah, but it went a whole lot further before it was over. Yeah, it was like a bolt of chain lightning that may take a dozen strange turns or more before it finally strikes home. And, actually, of course, the Wakeland was a funny-looking old scow. She'd had 30 years in the North Atlantic with never a part being replaced so long as there was some way of patching it up. Yeah, she was a regular joke of a ship. That is, to everybody except Captain Weatherfield. Yeah, those of us who were officers aboard her had learned a long time before not to hint anything like that to him. No, she was the Queen Mary and the Normandy and his firstborn child, all rolled up into one. So you can bet your life we all kept sober faces when the captain finally came aboard at the end of the week.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes, sir.
Well, everything in order? Will we be able to sail in an hour?
Yes, sir. I've been keeping her ready for the last 4 days, just in case...
That will do. I'm fully aware that we're 4 days past schedule. And the reason for it will not be discussed on board. Is that clear?
Yes, Captain.
I've been badly treated in this town, Mr. Connolly. Thrown behind bars like some thieving dock rat. I don't feel good about it. And if it takes me the rest of my life, I'm going to even up the score. Do you understand that?
I think so.
You think so, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then button up your collar and go get up a head of steam.
So 3 days later, we were plowing through a heavy sea 580 miles out on the Atlantic. The spray was freezing in the rigging. We were flirting with the fringe of a northeast hurricane.
Blast this double-blasted confounded wind. Mr. Connolly! Well, how's she looking, Mr. Connolly?
Not so bad. We're taking the seas in our quarter, and so far we're making only about 4 inches of water an hour.
4 inches of water an hour, sir?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then we'll take a chance on it.
Take a chance on what, sir?
A distress message. Just picked it up in the wireless shack.
Oh.
Here, take a look.
Mm-hmm. The freighter Johannes out of New Bristol. Main shaft broken, auxiliaries out of commission, shipping water fast. Latitude 4630, longitude... let me see. Yeah, they're about 90 miles from us, north and west.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Connolly. Lay out the course.
What?
We should sight her sometime around dawn. If we hold to full speed all night.
Full speed? Dead into a hurricane? Why, the Wakeland would fall apart in 2 hours.
I doubt it. She's a good ship. Lay out the course.
Yeah, but the Johannes is right in the main shipping lane. Somebody else is bound to pick her up before morning anyway.
Mr. Connolly, we can hope not.
What do you mean, hope not?
Evidently you didn't notice her registry, Mr. Connolly. She's out of New Bristol.
Well, what of it?
That, as you may recall, is the town that threw me into jail. Gotten all the papers. Like as not, my daughters up in Maine have probably read about it by now. I'll not have them thinking their father's a man who does nothing but go around punching people in the noggin.
All right, but what's it got to do with this?
I'm going to be alongside the Johannes before anybody else is, Mr. Connolly. I'm going to rescue every man aboard her. Then I'm going to take them back to New Bristol and get a public apology out of that town. And I'll see that gets in the papers, too.
I've never heard of anything so crazy.
I don't care what you've never heard of, Mr. Connolly. Lay out that course now before I get mad. Decide to punch somebody's blasted head off.
Well, the little cock of the walk made good the first part of his plan all right. In spite of a broken steam injector that had to be patched up with rigging wire, by shortly after dawn he had us hove to, half a cable length off from the Johannes. She was down by the stern, listing badly, but still afloat. The wind was howling like a banshee, and the flying spume was freezing all over our decks. There was no doubt that the next part of our job was going to be a lot tougher than the first part.
Mr. Connolly, we got a boat crew together.
Yes, sir. There'll be 5 seamen and a third mate. I'll take charge myself.
Leave the third mate aboard. I'll take charge myself. My show. I'm going to run it.
All right, Captain. Whatever you say.
Well, let's hold this up. Let's get this boat over the side.
Blocks are broken, Captain. Carpenter's trying to break it loose.
Well, he's not cracking walnuts at the tea party. Here, Chips, give me that mallet. Mr. Moritz.
Yes, sir.
You'll stay on board.
Yes, sir.
Keep an oil slick running. Waves out there. Pretty high.
Pretty high? I've never seen him any higher.
Well, I can't help it, Mr. Conley. I've got to... There, that's it. Boat's all ready.
Ready aboard, sir.
All right, then. Lower away.
For the 7 of us who went overside in the longboat, that command was the beginning of a nightmare. If things had been bad up on the Wakeland's deck, they were 100 times worse down there in the very midst of that smashing, that tumbling maelstrom of water and wind. A continuous driving spray was torn from the wave crests and froze solid on the gunwales and the boat seats and on our faces. One man bailed constantly while the others pulled away on the oars with bleeding hands. And even then, we were never far from foundering. Captain Weatherfield sat in the stern and shouted orders none of us could hear, but we could see his face, and that was enough to keep us at it. With a halo of sheet glass round his sou'wester and his gray beard turned to a frozen mass of jumbled icicles, he looked like Neptune come to life, or maybe even more like the devil himself. It took us over 2 hours before we finally hauled in against the rusty side of the battered old Johannes.
Ahoy, the deck!
Aye, sir. Been watching you. Talk to it, master.
You'll have to jump for it. Can't use a ladder. Sea's too heavy.
Understand. Already here.
Wait till we come up on a swell. We'll hold as steady as we can. And by... No, not yet!
Good Lord, he fell on the gun.
Blasted fool told him to wait.
He smashed in his chest. Why, it's the captain of the ship.
Then he had no business jumping first anyhow. Haul him aboard, Mr. Conley. Get him on the way. All right. Ready on deck? All right, there. Steady. Now! Good. Throw that man aft there. On deck. Wait, well. Wait. Now! Get him, Conley. A blast of sea. You on deck. Jump now. Wait. The men help him out there. Here comes another. Catch him. Yes, sir. Haul him in, Conley. Good. Back oars, you. Stand by. Pull an aft anchor. Here comes another one. Hold her steady. Keep one oar against the side there. Anybody else out there, mister?
No, sir. 6 of us. Others lost overboard last night.
All right, then. Back off the oars. You there, Polano. Get a hold of that oar.
He can't do it very well with only one arm, Captain.
What do you mean, one arm?
He broke his arm a couple of minutes ago when we bumped the side.
And give him a bucket. At least he can bail. All right, let's go.
It was 6 hours before we finally got back aboard the Wakeland. But we did get back. And I doubt if any other man but Captain Weatherfield could have done it. True enough, he fainted across the engine room hatch once we were on board. But don't forget, he was 72 years old. He'd taken a crew of 6 out in an open boat on the high seas in the middle of a hurricane, rescued 6 more men off a sinking ship, and brought the whole 12 back alive. Well, one of them, of course, was only barely alive, and that was Captain Miller of the Johannes. He was still unconscious. I had him put in a bunk and hoped for the best. And then I turned in to grab a few hours' sleep. I guess it was sometime after midnight when the third mate called me. I got dressed, went down, woke up the captain.
Confound it, Mr. Conley. Can't a man even close his eyes aboard this ship without somebody rousing him out of his bunk?
I'm sorry, Captain. Thought you ought to know. Miller's conscious now. Wants to see you. He thinks he's dying.
Dying, is it?
Yeah.
I'll see about that. Where's my pants?
Here you are, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, might be a good thing if Miller did die, according to his first mate, Larson.
Huh?
Well, Larson says they had plenty of warning of this storm, but Miller drove straight on into it. He was racing for port.
Oh, racing for port.
Yeah.
Bad business.
There'll be an inquiry on it. He'll lose his ticket when they find out.
It's also bad business, Mr. Connolly, when first mates talk out of turn. Come on. Where is he?
I put him in the cabin off the wardroom. The third mate's in there with him now.
How is the ship heading?
Due south.
Due south?
Well, we're running before the wind. Can't do anything else.
I told you, Mr. Connolly, to lay a course for New Bristol.
I know, but we can't do it. The main boiler's out, and we're on the auxiliaries. It may take 2 days to fix it.
Confound the luck. Risk my life to rescue a man. Tries to die on me. Now that bonehead engineers let the main boiler break down.
That's not his fault. It should have been replaced 5 years ago.
5 years ago what, Mr. Connolly?
5 years ago, sir.
Good.
Here we are.
Oh, glad you got here, sir. I was getting worried.
It's all right, Mr. Roberts. Here, stand back a bit and hold the light up.
Yes.
There, that's fine. Evening, Captain Miller.
Evening, Captain.
You're in some pain, I take it?
Yeah. Feels like something sharp. Sticking in my chest. Getting worse.
Something sharp, eh? No doubt the broken end of a rib poking into your lungs.
Yeah. Guess so.
There you are. Feels like there's a rib gone.
Want to make a statement of the law.
Oh, I do. I figure you're getting ready to die, is that it?
Yeah. Not much chance. Shouldn't I jump first?
No, you shouldn't have. Understand you was racing for pot. Drove straight into the storm.
Yeah. I had to. It's my wife. Her first baby. Wanted to be with her.
What's he saying, sir?
Wife's thinking of having a baby, Roberts.
Oh.
Statement. Responsibility.
We'll discuss that later, Captain. That lung gets a hole punched in it. You're done for.
He's practically done for now.
You know, Mr. Connolly, I saw a doctor open up a man once and take a broken rib out of him. Think I can remember fairly well how he went about it. And there ought to be some chloroform on board.
Captain Weathers.
You shut up, Mr. Connolly. Captain Miller, it's one chance in a million, but you've got no chance now. How about it?
Anything. Doesn't matter. Be an inquiry report. Better to die.
Well, we'll worry about that later. All right, then. Go find that chloroform, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, sir.
And bring me a bar of soap.
Yes.
And get a couple of them little knives, whatever they call them, out of the medicine locker.
Yes, sir, right away.
Mr. Connolly, go wake up that first mate of his. Get him in here. We'll need a witness to Captain Miller's consent.
All right, sir.
And Mr. Connolly.
Yes, sir.
Find Chips and borrow his chest of tools. Never can tell what you'll find when you start to open a man up.
In 10 minutes, we had everything ready. Larson signed a statement, swearing that Captain Miller had agreed to it. And the third mate, with his face white as a sheet, stood at the head of the bunk, dripping chloroform onto a towel and holding it over Miller's nose and mouth. I held the light in one hand and kept the other on the patient's pulse, while Captain Weatherfield rolled up his sleeves and started in on a major operation that he thought he'd seen some doctor perform once.
Everything snug and proper. How's he seem to be getting along, Mr. Connolly?
I don't know. He's still breathing.
I know he's breathing, man. It's his chest I'm operating on. How's his pulse?
Pretty weak. No worse than it was.
Keep that chloroform dripping, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, sir.
Well, there's no time like the present. Hold that light steady, Mr. Connolly.
Yes, sir.
Steady yourself. Now, let me see. I think that doctor did it like this.
I've used up half the chloroform, Captain.
Keep it dripping, Roberts. Well now. Don't remember anything like that being in there. Let's see now.
Pulse is getting pretty weak.
Mr. Connolly, don't bother me. Got more important things here to think about. Mm-hmm. That's it. Here's the end of the rib, all right. Now, I can just... That's all right, let it go. Don't need the knife anymore. Confound it, Conley. Give me a little more room to work here. Cabin's small enough as it is.
Captain, his pulse has stopped.
No, it hasn't, Mr. Conley. Now, where the devil doesn't that rib come loose when I...
It's no use, Captain. He's dead. His heart stopped beating.
Mr. Conley, don't stand there. Try to tell me his heart stopped when I can see it beating right now. Mr. Larson.
Yes, sir.
Would you look at that tool chest behind you? See if you can find me a pair of pliers.
I doubt if there's ever been another operation like it before or since. By all rights, Captain Miller should have died 10 times over, right there on the bunk. Only he didn't. He was unconscious for 48 hours. But on the 5th day, he was sitting up on a deck chair and cussing because somebody had slung his broken rib overboard instead of saving it so he could whittle out a letter opener. We were driven 600 miles to the south before the storm blew itself out, and we got the main boiler back into operation and could lay a course for New Bristol. And 3 days away from port, Captain Weatherfield called all of us officers of the Wakeland together in the chart room, along with First Mate Larson of the Johannes.
Gentlemen, there may be some questions in your minds in regard to what this meeting is all about. No doubt you're wondering, even if you aren't asking. Am I right?
Well, yes, sir. We have been trying to guess.
Then I'll tell you, gentlemen. I called this meeting to put a stop to certain idle rumors, which I hear have been floating around.
Just what kind of rumors, Captain Weatherfield?
Them which says that Captain Miller of late ship Johannes deliberately drove head-on into a storm while racing to make port.
There's no rumor about that. It's what he was doing. As his first mate, I should know.
And I say he wasn't, Mr. Larson. The way I figure it, got caught by the storm without any warning. He gave orders for full speed to try to beat out of it. A couple of hours later, main shaft broke, left him helpless without steerage way. Could happen to anybody.
Maybe. Only it didn't. I was there, Captain Weatherfield. I know what happened. And there's 5 of my crew left to back me up.
They'll back up anything you say, Mr. Larson. You know that.
And there's nothing to talk about. When the Board of Inquiry gets through with Miller, he won't command another ship as long as he lives.
So, there's not going to be any Board of Inquiry.
Huh? Maybe that's not up to you.
Which is what we're here to decide.
I don't get it, Captain. Miller's a rat. He was the first one to jump when we come alongside. Anything that happens to him serves him right. Now, why should you stick up for him?
My personal opinion of the man has nothing to do with this, Mr. Conley. I say there'll be no Board of Inquiry because it suits my purposes that there be none.
And just what are your purposes, Captain?
I drove my ship 90 miles off her course in a hurricane, risked my life in an open boat, just for one reason, Mr. Larson. Because I knew you were registered out of New Bristol.
Ah, so that's it.
Aye, Mr. Conley, that's it. I operated on a man, saved his life, just so he could stand up alongside of me, have our pictures taken for the newspapers.
I get it. So, you don't want some messy Board of Inquiry throwing scandal in the story of your noble rescue on the high sea, huh? You want to be a blasted hero.
Mr. Larson, being a hero has got nothing to do with it. But I am planning to get a public apology out of the town of New Bristol. And you, or nobody else, is going to do anything to stop me.
Yeah, well, it's too bad you haven't got the whole say about it, Captain.
And it's too bad you're so bull-headed, sit on swearing away your captain's ticket, that you forced me to teach you a lesson.
And just how are you aiming to do that?
By knocking a little sense into your thick noggin, something like this.
So it's a fight you're after. All right. Come on, Captain. Teach me a lesson.
I'm the one who learned in Shanghai. I'll teach you all right. You got it, Captain. Yes, up, Mr. Larson.
I'll get up. All right.
He's got a pair of dividers. No, you tried to snap it. Would you? Well, Larson, what about it?
I'm through.
There's going to be a Board of Inquiry?
No. I'll back up anything you say.
Good. What about the rest of you? Anything I say, go? All right, then. Get back on watch. What do you think this is, a peaceful harbor of a Sunday?
It was a clear, sunshiny day when we steamed into New Bristol Harbor and dropped anchor at the mouth of the river. Captain Weatherfield sent Miller on ashore at quarantine, insisting that his reason was not just to make sure of having a reception ready. Nonetheless, he spent an hour and a half shaving, trimming his hair, and dressing up in his best shore-going clothes. But he had a right to strut a little at that. He'd moved through a whole series of tough jobs, every one against almost impossible odds, and he'd come out on top. And all because he wanted his daughters up in Maine to know he could do something once in a while besides punch people in the noggin. It was mid-afternoon by the time we finally rowed ashore in the longboat, and a good-sized crowd had assembled on the wharf. And when we got in close, we could see Captain Miller waiting by the landing, along with a regular reception committee, all dressed up in striped pants and top hats like a bunch of foreign diplomats. And the head man of the whole layout was the same judge who'd given the captain 7 days in jail.
Easy now, Mr. Conley.
I'll hold it steady, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, Captain Weatherfield, on behalf of the town of New Bristol.
Well, now, it's mighty nice of you, Judge.
Not at all, Captain. We're the ones who are honored. The whole town. And we want you to know it.
Well, thank you, Judge.
Captain Miller here has given us the complete story. The rescue at sea, a daring operation that saved his life.
Here. How you feeling, Captain Miller?
A little tired right now, Captain. Been pretty busy. Arranging things, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You're a hero in this town, Captain Weatherfield. There's nothing too good for you. We're proud of you.
I was wondering if you'd recall a little incident where we met before, Judge, not so long ago.
A terrible mistake. I'll never forgive myself. I feel I owe you a public apology, Captain Weatherfield.
Well, now, don't believe I know just what to say, Judge.
Nothing at all to say, Captain Weatherfield. As I said before, we're the ones who are honored. The whole town of New Bristol. And all of New England, too, by Jove. Once those reporters get their stories on the wire.
Reporters, eh? Well, now, that's going to too much trouble, Judge.
Oh, not at all, Captain, not at all. They'll be wanting an interview with you, you know. We've had quite a time keeping them off this long. You're a hero, man. Don't you realize that?
I only did my duty, Judge.
The New Bristol needs more men who only do their duty, Captain Weatherfield.
Mighty nice of you to say so.
When I recall the way you were treated here a few weeks ago, Captain, well, all I can do is to ask your forgiveness publicly.
I suspect that might be arranged, Judge. I'm not a man to bear a grudge.
A fact which your actions have proven, sir.
Them there fellows with the cameras, are they reporters, are they?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed, Captain. Well, of course, they're photographers, really.
They're taking them pictures to print in the newspapers, are they?
That's right, Captain. They'll be seen by people all over the country.
I suppose we might walk over that way?
Certainly, Captain Weatherfield. Certainly. Anything you like. Won't you join us, Captain Miller?
Thanks, gentlemen. You know, I was just thinking, if they print a picture of that ship out there, nobody will believe the story.
What did you say, Captain Miller?
I said they wouldn't believe it. To look at that old mud sky, you wouldn't think she could float in the calm sea, much less...
Captain Weatherfield. Heavens, he struck the man.
I'll teach you to call my ship a mud scow. Squint-eyed son of a five-legged salamander.
Stop, I say. Stop. Thank you. Stop it. Stop it. Constable. Arrest that man and lock him up. I'm filing a charge of assault and battery.
Escape, produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, tonight brought you Habit by F.R. Buckley, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with editorial supervision by John Dunkel. Featured in tonight's cast were John Daner as Mr. McConley and Louis Van Rooten as Captain Weatherfield, with Wilms Herbert as Captain Miller, Barry Kroger as the judge, and Bill Boucher as First Mate Larson. Special music by Ivan Ditmars. Next week...
You are making your painful way over the great India desert, alone and dying of thirst, while behind you, pursuing you, are the fanatical Kafirs, who once bowed to you as king, and now call for your life.
week, we escape with Rudyard Kipling's exciting story, The Man Who Would Be King. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Nestle's Quick for the greatest tasting chocolate milk. And those famous Nestle's chocolate bars present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy have entered a manufacturing plant on Jupiter to capture a fugitive. Right now, in a large, empty storeroom, they find their search blocked by a locked door.
He must be in the next room, sir. I heard a noise.
Let's get a look on this door.
Yeah, it looks pretty rugged. Hey, what happened to the lights?
Darkness will help us if we take down.
Never thought of it. Two of them here. They've got ray guns.
I heard those sounds. We got to get them before they get us. We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Tattooed Atom. Hi, fellows and girls. This is Captain Twofeldt. I've got terrific news for you today. The makers of Nestle's Quick want you to have a Man from Mars totem head. Exactly like the kind Commander Corey found. It's a super spooky totem head, more than 12 inches high. It fits over your head and disguises you so well, even your own mom won't know you. It's brilliantly colored with a beak nose, fang teeth, a face in front, and an extra face in back, and it has magic forehead vision. Now, this is a special secret device that works only for you. Yes, you can see out, but nobody can see in. Honest, nobody can see in. Nobody can tell who's inside the Man from Mars totem head. So you can have loads of fun fooling everybody. And, gang, it's easy to get your totem head, because I'm sure that you must have a can of Nestle's Quick in your galley. You know, there's no chocolate milk in the universe that's as good as Quick with its Nestle chocolate bar flavor. Well, now here's what you do. Send the lid from that can of Nestle's Quick, or a tracing of the front of a label, together with your name and address, and 25 cents to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And don't forget your 25 cents. And if you missed the address, get a pencil, because we'll repeat it later. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Tattooed Atom. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are at the most closely guarded scientific center in the solar system, the Arthaven Research Laboratory on the planet Mercury. Investigating a leak of secret information, Buzz is asking the cooperation of Gene Satterley, a young scientist in the electrochemical section.
Gene, you're aware that classified information is somehow being smuggled through the security network here at Arthaven.
I have heard rumors, Commander. In spite of every precaution and use of scientific detection instruments, information is being smuggled out of Arthaven. I'm hoping you can help us find out how. But, Commander, I'm a scientist, an electrochemical engineer, not a crime investigator.
I know. But you and other scientists and other divisions might help us locate a blind spot in our security system. Will you cooperate?
Of course I'll help, Commander. In fact, I have something of interest to show you. Something that has puzzled me.
What is it?
In the next room, please.
Come on, then.
You'll find some papers on the desk at the rear of the room and a chart of the distribution plan for this section. Oh, one minute. You go in.
I want to get some notes out of my files. All right, Gene. Pat, let's look at that distribution chart. It can give us an idea of...
Commander, he locked us in.
Evidently, we've located that security leak.
He acted kind of nervous. Should we try breaking down the door?
No, there's a phone there in the desk.
Hey, we can have the guards grab him before he even gets out of the inner ring.
Now, wait, Hap. Let him get away. And we can have him followed. Don't touch the phone until we've had a chance to get past the first guard.
A few hours later, Gene Satterley walks down a side street at Mercury City.
Mr. Satterley.
I'm afraid you made a mistake.
No, Satterley, you did. When you left our cabin. Just keep watching. The surface right just around the corner. You've got an appointment.
Gene Satterley's escort holds the muzzle of a ray gun against the scientist's ribs during the long drive to the residential section of Mercury City. When the surface car finally stops before a large residence, the scientist is nearly overcome by fear. His companion takes Satterley into the house, down a hall, and then through a door into a large room that's utterly silent and completely dark. Suddenly, a shaft of light, nearly blinding in brilliance, strikes Satterley almost with the force of a blow. The man with the gun steps back into the dark silence, leaving Satterley squirming in the pool of light.
Why have I been brought here? Is anyone in this room? Speak to me.
There is nothing to fear, Satterley.
Who are you?
I am Polydor.
Polydor?
You have been paid well for getting secret information to my agent. But by running away, you ended your usefulness to me.
Well, I had to. Commander Corey was on me.
You have followed my orders. There is nothing to incriminate you. But perhaps you haven't obeyed my orders.
Yes, I have.
I have many spies at our kingdom. I was informed within 5 minutes after you left the lab. As you know, Mogren had noticed because he located you. Now, tell me the truth.
I am telling the truth.
Then where is message 58K?
I sent it out of the plant in the usual way in marked atoms of mercury.
It was never received.
Well, it must have gone astray. Maybe the space patrol...
Don't be stupid. The space patrol could give the mercury every test in the book and still not discover our secret. Isn't that true?
Yes, but...
Then find that mercury. Your life depends on it. Understand?
Just who are you?
For all you know, I am just a boy. I will be standing behind you in the dark, or I may be on Pluto. No one in the universe has seen me as Polydor, yet hundreds obey me. Mogren, the man who brought you here, has never seen me.
Then there's a spacephone here, and amplifiers. You are in this room. I hear footsteps. Or is that Mogren?
I'm way back here.
No, it's impossible.
Did someone like you, Satterley? Or did you just imagine? You don't know, do you? Now will you recover message 58K?
I'll do my best.
Mogren, take him away.
Elsewhere, millions of VUs from Mercury, the Terra 5 streaks toward Jupiter. As the giant planet looms larger in the nose port, Cadet Happy looks up from a sheet with spaceophone reports from the Space Patrol Security Lab on Terra.
I don't get it, Commander. Gene Satterley has a perfect record, not only at our cabin, but as far back as you want to go. And there was nothing at the lab to connect him with anything crooked. Why did he run away?
Well, he's guilty of something. That's very evident. But he's not a confirmed criminal. His method of escape shows that.
How, Commander?
Well, a true criminal type with Satterley's intelligence would have planned several alternative methods of escape in advance.
Oh, like the phone in the room he locked us in. Yeah, he'd have put that out of commission.
Exactly. He had almost 30 minutes' notice that we were at our cabin and wanted to talk to him. Could have stopped him easily if we wanted to.
Too bad we didn't. Look how he vanished in Mercury City with one of our agents just a few yards behind him. That wasn't so amateurish.
Saturday must have had professional help that time. Now, our best chance to get a lead on him is to check his family and friends in Jupiter, particularly Saturday's father.
Satterley wouldn't be fool enough to contact his father now, would he?
Worth a try.
On the outskirts of the main manufacturing section of Jupiter City is a small shop with a sign reading Joseph Satterley, Precision Machinist. Buzz and Happy have been trying to explain the purpose of their visit over the whir of a lathe.
Yeah, there now. I can hear with that thing going on, but it seems like nobody else can. Well, like I told you, Commander, my boy's on Mercury with the Arkhaven Laboratory. Yes, Mr. Satterley, I know. Does he have any close friends here in Jupiter City? Well, there's a girl, Karen Lorimer. Karen, my boy at Gates. Commander, there's something wrong. Gene isn't in trouble, is he? Mr. Satterley, I know your son's excellent record. Yesterday, I went to Arkhaven to ask him to cooperate with the Space Patrol on a security problem. You saw him yesterday? While Cadet Happy and I were talking to him, he suddenly pulled a very clumsy trick on us and fled from Arkhaven. My son ran away from I can't believe it. I'm sorry, but it's true. Now, Mr. Satterley, can you think of anything to account for Gene's behavior? No. I'm sure he's done nothing wrong. Maybe he's overworked or breakdown nerves. Have you heard from him recently? No. A few days ago, a package arrived. Small, but quite heavy. I opened it. Found this. A metal bottle. It is a container of mercury.
Yeah, it's stamped Arkhaven Labs, Section E3.
Steam Center section. Container has an official seal on it, still unbroken. This is government property. Did you ever send you anything like this before? Oh, no, never. If this contains only mercury, it's worth 5 or 6 credits at the most. Surely taking a few pounds of mercury isn't a serious crime? No. But diverting a sealed container out of regular channels is serious. If this is only mercury, then I'd agree with you that Gene is suffering from nerves. It's too stupid and pointless to be a crime. Well, it must be the strain of overwork. When this container is opened and analyzed, we'll know whether you're right, Mr. Satterley. Oh, now, if you don't mind, I'd like the address of this girl, this Karen Lorimer.
From Satterley's shop to Karen Lorimer's apartment is but a few moments' drive in a surface car. Leaving the sealed container of mercury in the dash compartment of the car, Buzz and Happy ascend the steps.
You know, Commander, Gene's father may be right. A nervous breakdown would explain Gene's peculiar behavior.
Perhaps. But in any case, we've got to find Gene before he gets into more trouble. Something I can do for you? I'm Commander Corey of the Space Patrol. I was told that Miss Karen Lorimer lives here. That's right. She and the mother are out right now, though. When do you expect her back? In about 10 minutes. Would you like to come in and wait? Yes, thanks. Come on, Happy.
I suppose I'd better introduce myself. Karen's mother is my aunt. She practically raised me.
Oh, that's all?
Yes. The reason things are in kind of a mess here, the women are cleaning house. They offer to help move the furniture around. You know, to help their nephews.
Yes, sir. I don't believe I got your name.
Oh, Ed. Ed Lawrence.
Commander, excuse me, but I think I'll step outside and get some air. I feel sort of...
Happy, what's the matter?
You believe the cadet is fainted.
Here, Happy. Out.
You guys would never fold up. I'll take these weapons, gentlemen. You'll be tired, aren't you? So weak you can hardly move. That's the end. You're fatigued by radiation. You've been getting it since you came in. That fatigue ray will hold you while I look for something. And if I don't find it, well, I've got a gimmick that'll make you talk.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Have you seen a man from Mars? A man from Mars has a weird totem head, a beak nose, fang teeth, a face in front, another face in back, and magic forehead vision, so he can see out, but nobody can see in.
And, gang, you can all be men from Mars. Yes, sir, Nestle's Quick wants all of you to have the sensational, super scary Man from Mars totem head. It's a complete disguise that completely covers your head, makes you look like a spook from another planet. And wait till you see how magic forehead vision works. It's a special device that lets you see out, but nobody can see in. Why, nobody can even tell it's you inside your Man from Mars totem head. Boy, what fun you'll have fooling and scaring all your pals. And it's easy to get your totem head. All you have to do is get out your big brown and yellow can of Nestle's Quick, the product that makes the best chocolate milk in the universe. No Martian ever had such a delicious drink, or such a simple one, because with Quick there's no beating, no shaking. You just drop 2 spoonfuls of Quick into your glass of milk and swish it with your spoon. Why, Quick makes itself. Now, here's what you do. Send the lid from the can of Nestle's Quick, or a tracing of the front of a label, together with your name and address, and 25 cents to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And hurry so you can be
the Man from Mars.
And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, The Tattooed Atom. Thinking the missing scientist, Gene Satterley, might try to contact his family or friends in Jupiter City, Buzz and Happy went to the home of Satterley's fiancée, Karen Lorimer. They were admitted by a man who claimed to be related to Karen. Suddenly, Buzz and Happy were overcome by extreme weakness by means of a concealed fatigue ray machine. Taking their weapons, the imposter threatened them with violence if he failed to find an unnamed object for which he was searching. Right now, a few moments later, Buzz and Happy shakily get to their feet.
That fatigue ray must have turned my muscles into putty. I haven't got the strength of a wet noodle.
I hope the effect wears off before that fake nephew comes back.
Maybe he already found what he was after when he searched the apartment.
He said he'd be back if he took the ray machine with him.
Maybe he was bluffing.
A surface car. Maybe he went out to search that. Come on, Happy.
Yes, sir. He's not at the car now.
He must have found what he was after. He'd come back in the apartment to make us talk.
But what have we got in the car that he'd want?
Happy, what's the one link between us and Karen Lorimer? Why did we come here?
Why, on account of Gene Satterley. But
Open the car door.
Smoking rockets. The dash compartment. It's been cut open.
With our own atomo torch.
Commander, the container of mercury is gone.
Yes, and with it, old Mr. Satterley's hope that his son is nearly overworked. Let's get to Jupiter City headquarters. I'll send out a general alert on our pal with the fatigue ray.
In another part of Jupiter City, there is sudden activity in the abandoned Goda Plastics plant. Working swiftly, a lone operator adjusts an array of instruments. Then, from a case, he removes a metal container and places it in the target area of a ray tube. The silence is broken by a strange voice that seems to come from every part of the room.
Mogrim, what's taking you so long?
I'm almost ready, Fuller. The mercury cylinder's in place.
All right. Put on the probe ray. Check the image monitor.
Definition is excellent, Fuller. Well, that does it. Now, do I send the microfilm through the usual channels for decoding?
No. Use System D this time. We're in danger of interception, thanks to the stupid behavior of Mr. Saturday.
Yeah. Here's a guy who's smart enough to invent a method of marking individual atoms. He devises an electronic code system that nobody but us can detect. And he sidetracks a can full of secret information at Jupiter. I don't get it.
That doesn't matter now. We've got information. Now, since we have no more use for mercury, we can return it to space again.
Return it? What for?
It will help confuse Foley and keep him off our trail.
Okay, I'll take care of that. Well, I'd better get off Jupiter. Corey probably has every agent in the city looking for me by now.
First, we must dispose of Gene Satterley. He's no longer of use to us and could prove dangerous. He arrived in Jupiter City this morning. 2 of my men will pick him up and bring him here. You will get all the information from him that you can, and then get rid of him.
In the Jupiter City headquarters of the Space Patrol, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy examine a laboratory report. From time to time, they look up at an object on a desk. A metal container full of mercury.
I don't get it, sir. This guy goes to all the trouble to steal this can of mercury out of our surface car, and then we get it back with the seal still unbroken.
And we turn it over to the lab. They break the seal and subject the mercury and the container to every known test. The verdict? Just ordinary mercury. And nothing wrong with the container, inside or out.
Well, what about Karen Loren and her mother? They never saw that fake nephew, huh?
No, they got a phone call to Gene Saturday wanted them to leave him at the spaceport.
Oh. And that's how this fellow got them out of the apartment, to give him time to search it, right?
Yes. One of our agents checked their story. Evidently, neither Karen nor her mother are involved in this, sir. Space Patrol Headquarters, Commander Corey here.
Commander, this is Joseph Satterley, Gene's father.
Yes, Mr. Saturday.
It's about my son.
Yes?
I've heard from him. He's here in Jupiter City.
Did he come to your shop?
No, he won't. He asked for money. I told him I'd bring it to him.
Are you positive it was your son?
It was Gene, all right. But he sounded so strange, so disturbed. Something is terribly wrong, Commander, more than I ever believed. I can tell by his voice. He isn't just afraid of being arrested. He's in danger. Dreadful danger.
I'll help him all I can, Mr. Saturday. Where is he?
He's at 43 Alpha Street, Jupiter City. I'm to bring the money at 2100 hours.
43 Alpha. You've got 40 minutes. Stay in your shop, Mr. Saturday. I'll keep that appointment for you. Corey out. All right. I'm not sure whether this is a rescue or a capture, but we're going after Gene Saturday.
In the back room of the Goda plastic plant, Gene Satterley is securely bound in a chair, while Mogren stands over him threateningly.
I'll give you one more chance, Satterley. And I'm going to get rough. Tell me how you marked these mercury atoms.
Why should I tell you? You get rid of me anyway.
I don't think it'll be a problem. He'll be here in a few minutes. You don't want anything to happen to him, do you?
Look, Mogren, you and this Polidor, whoever he is, you forced me to be a spy. I've ruined my career and my life. Nothing you could do to my father could hurt him worse than that.
There's still Karen Lorimer to consider. You wouldn't want her to suffer.
Why, you rotten...
Compared to what you're going to get. You're not just defying me, you're defying Polidor, the greatest genius in the universe.
And why don't you bring him here? Let him work on me.
Well, I know Polidor is watching us right now, listening to everything we say. My job is to get that secret out of you. It's my neck or yours. So talk.
Shortly before 2100 hours, Buzz and Happy stalked silently toward a sprawling, darkened structure at 43 Alpha Street. Cautiously, Buzz tries the door and finds it unlocked. Ray guns drawn, they enter the building and softly close the door behind them.
The room's empty. There's another door on the other side. Now, close this door behind you. This must have been a stairway. It's big enough. Mm-hmm. Saturday may be behind that other door, watching us through a peephole. Let's go to the door. I'll try the door. Darkness will help us as much as Saturday.
They've got ray guns.
Fire toward those sounds. Don't move. Lights are on again.
The room is empty.
Take your hands up.
Oh, it's you. Where did you come from?
Through the door. Well, you were firing at Phantom.
Someone was in here when the lights were out. We heard them.
Did you really? Now, you must be imagining things. There's one thing that isn't imaginary. A feeling of weakness creeping over you. Your arm's turning to lead.
The fatigue ring.
Oh, that's right. You've been in the radiation field for more than a minute now. The cadets all...
Give me that gun!
Pull the door! Pull the door! Help me! Pull the door! Pull the door!
Oh, what a neat left hook. Boy, that fatigue ray sure didn't work on you this time, Commander.
Not as much as he thought it would. Here, I've got to get you out of the ray field.
Thanks, sir. I'll be okay.
Commander Corey!
Somebody's in the next room.
You keep an eye on this fellow in case he comes to.
Yes, sir.
Well, Saturday.
Commander, you saved my life. This fellow Bogan, he was going
We
to...
took care of him. What about his pal, this Polidor? Come on, Saturday, speak up. There's someone else in the building. We heard him.
I heard him, but he isn't here. I know you think I'm crazy, but it's true. Polidor is a demon, a master criminal. Get me out of here, and I'll tell you all I know.
Later at Space Patrol headquarters in Jupiter City, Buzz and Happy questioned Gene Satterley.
Then this is the way you smuggled secret information out of our haven. You found a way to tag individual atoms of mercury with different types of radiation.
Yes. When the mercury samples were scanned with certain rays, the marked atoms would discharge their radiation. The pattern was registered on microfilm and decoded electronically.
And Polidor's agents could intercept shipments of mercury to scan them without breaking the seal.
That's right. And then pass them on to their proper destinations.
And without special equipment, nobody could detect these tattooed atoms.
That's why Polidor was safe in ordering Moglen to return that container to you here at headquarters.
What secret information is in that sample of mercury, the one you sent your father?
Ironically, no government secrets, Commander. Just a full confession of my part in Polidor's scheme. And the names of some of his agents.
A confession? Well, then when Polidor decodes that microfilm, he'll be tipped off.
I thought I could outsmart Polidor and the Space Patrol. But I waited too long and got in too deep. But I'm glad it's over.
It's over for you, Saturday, but we're happy in you. The job is just beginning.
Yes, sir, but how do we fight someone we can't see? Polidor's invisible. We can't tell where he'll strike next.
No, but we can provide a tempting target. When Polidor does strike, you'll be ready.
In just a moment, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure brought to you by Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages.
Captain Tufeld, want to see something real keen?
You bet, Space Patroller.
Okay, then, take a look. Right here in my backyard.
Wowee, a totem pole.
A Martian totem pole. And mine's higher than any of the other fellas, because I got more totem heads.
And Space Patrollers, you can build yourself one of these swell totem poles, too. You make them out of Man from Mars totem heads. Stack them one on top of the other just as high as you want.
The same Man from Mars totem head you wear over your head, with magic forehead vision that lets you see out but nobody else can see in.
Yes, sir, those neat totem heads are more than 12 inches high in real Martian totem colors. Red and yellow, green and black.
And it's real easy to get lots of totem heads with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box tops. Listen, gang.
For every Man from Mars totem head you want, send a Chex box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. And now, an action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz is searching a cavern on Neptune, looking for Happy, who's been captured by an agent of the master criminal Polidor. Happy, where are you?
Here, Commander. But I'm tied up.
I'll be right with you. Hap, what's that?
Just one of Polidor's tricks. He's trying to scare us with sound.
Already, you are only a few yards from the cadet, and I am on another planet. But what? You will never reach the cadet.
Commander, look out! The gate is closing!
It's no use, Commander. You both my prisoners.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Cavern of Fear. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Dever. Other players were Bela Kobach, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday for exciting action on Space Patrol. Space Patrol was brought to you today by Nestle's Quick, for the greatest tasting chocolate milk and those famous Nestle's chocolate bars. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your newspaper for time and channel. This program was broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.